I would have loved to see some sort of reference to the Foresters in the ending, and I would have been happy. That would have been really
I think the whole point, though, for the Foresters is that you had something that wasn't in the show.
That's true, yeah. That was also
kind
a
of
good
the
point,
whole point. They weren't
that's a
in
good
the
point.
show, so that you had a new, interesting family to explore outside of the show.
I found them really interesting, but I was never into the game. I didn't.
Oh,
I was never in Game of. I never watched Game of Thrones before. I got the game for free. I got the game for free on like a PS Plus deal, I think, and I played it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, it's pretty good."
It's if you don't think of it as a game per se, it's a really interesting.
It's a really interesting story about a family. Yeah,
interactive story.
I liked it. I liked the interactiveness. I liked Asher. I liked Roderick. I liked the entire Asher family. I liked the fact that they show that these guys are technically the more honorable side of everything. You are most of the time the good guys in that game. Technically, the way you look at it, because the Boltons are assholes. And say it with me now, fuck the Boltons.
Yeah, and they're all dead,
on my
aren't they?
streams.
Yeah,
Hi,
Game of Thrones. Yes, I'm now on Twitch and YouTube.
Oh, hi.
Hey, you got it working.
Congratulations.
Great.
Nice.
Yeah, I my last
I
like,
only ever
3 streams
watched.
have been both.
I've only ever watched Game of Thrones.
I haven't had a lot of spare time.
Up
I
until
know
the
what
point.
you're saying, bro. You're saying you don't want to be watch me on. That's fine. That's fine.
Well, guys, our watch begins because in 2020 we allegedly, supposedly, are going to finally have Winds of Winter in our hands. If you want the book,
Believe that.
I'll believe it when it's out.
That it's 2020, and
I'll
if
believe
it
it when
released 2020, we can chain him
alive by then
in a house on the White Isle until he finishes it.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I know.
And then we have to wait until 2025 for the last book in the series.
You have to wait until 2027 when he's dead, and they release that interview of him actually saying what the ending of the books is, because I think he did that. Yeah, he recorded what the ending of the books would be in case.
I don't think it's going to be any different than the show. The show's
really?
Like there'll be some detail differences, but the ending itself will be basically the same thing. I'm not going to say it because we have streams up right now, so I don't want to spoil it in case there are people that are watching. But the book ending's not going to differentiate.
People that are watching. Thanks, bud.
No, I know what Roach is saying. The books,
well, there's character differences,
but there'll be better development towards that point.
Yeah, it'll just take longer to get where the show got to.
It'll be like 17,000
he'll have 1,500 pages.
Yeah.
Of because I don't know how big Winds of Winter is, but he said it's like 1,500 like manuscript pages that he's looking towards this being. So it's gonna be fucking humongous.
It's like an 800-page book, maybe at best.
I don't know, because I don't remember how big the last book was, but it was monstrous. Like, well, the last book was big enough that he split it into 2 books. Yeah, originally the last 2 books was supposed to be 1 book, but he split it into 2 based on geography because of just how big they were. So that's why that's why those.
Because you didn't want to carry a book like this size around with you everywhere.
Either way, we got that done. Is everybody in the? Yeah.
It remembered our dice colors as well, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually completely forgot that I changed the color of my dice.
This entire conversation, the only thing I know of Game of Thrones is Daenerys married Aquaman.
Wait,
that's true. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I forgot that.
When I started watching, the only thing I knew is that she married Ronan Dax from Stargate Atlantis. That's what I knew about him.
I didn't know him at all because I'm not a nerd. Well, I am a nerd, but I'm not that much.
You're not a nerd. Says playing D&D.
Yes, I am not
virtual D&D too. You're not even at a table
with people.
Well, I am at a
across
table. I'm just
3
not at a
nations.
table with all of you. You know. Yeah. I mean, technically 4 if you count Scotland, right?
3 independent nations.
The Englishman is just like, no.
I mean, if we were really going to start saying like who wants to be independent counts as an independent nation, I mean, technically Crimson could consider that because the South still wants to leave in some.
The South will rise again.
The
South. I'm moving to Texas.
Same thing. They want to be
Republic of Texas.
As well.
Yeah, I know, but they can actually pull it off.
Alamo.
Well, given the fact they're actually 3 times the size of Britain, yeah.
This is
Oh,
fair.
I found a good Imager post that was just comparing European countries to their size to the U.S. Like they interposed exactly, and oh god, you guys are so tiny.
Ireland is like the
amazing.
size of a county in Utah. I think it's the size of one county in Utah. I think perfectly.
I can believe
Yeah,
that.
it's pretty close. Yeah, no, it's amazing how small you guys are.
Yeah, but we love each other here. Unlike you guys, you just hate. You know, you hate.
I
yours.
seem to recall thousands of years of war between different nations.
I mean,
and
yes.
here.
Yeah,
But
but it was
we got over it.
in good fun. We had a drink
Yeah.
after.
we
got
have to get
over it.
over ours as well. We're in that period right now.
Yeah, you know, me and
give it-
Rival and me
Give
and
it
Rival
75
and Mitch.
years. We'll have killed a good number of everybody. We'll be over it, and then we'll just be a united country.
Yeah, it'll just be the nuclear apocalypse, and we're all sitting like just a shell of an Irish bar somewhere having a pint. Like, yeah, that was fun, wasn't it?
Fun fact about
So-
Ireland: the air GPS coordinates for Ireland is Guinness. Anyway.
Yep. If I had a
so-
Guinness right now, I'd be like, yeah.
What a
So
fun
I don't
fact.
like Guinness. So
So
Red Moogle runs a bar on my YouTube channel. She opened another one on the Twitch. It's called the Elf's Twitchy Trigger Finger.
oh, I like it. I like it. It's good.
eh,
Oh, I thought she was joking about that.
That's pretty good.
but let's get into it. Let's get into
And let's
this
get
game.
right into the D&D.
So, who wants to do the recap for the last session?
I haven't done one in a while. I'll do one.
As long as it ends with, and Rivalon went mental and killed a giant spider, I'm happy.
So, last week we continued from the point we left off, which was we were in the midst of a cave looking for a water source in order to aid a local farmer whose crops were mysteriously being poisoned and dying, and there was weird, mysterious sounds coming from a well. So we were in this cave where we came across and were almost jumped by what seemed to be a giant, white, ethereal-like spider and its two spider-filled goons who came up behind us. And as always with this party, fighting ensued. There was lots of arrows thrown. The spider tried to attack Isaac quite a lot and missed because of Isaac's shield, and Isaac felt very good about that for once because it meant that a spell actually worked. Not only that, but the spider had mysterious powers, which we did witness in the fight, and it used to escape, or so we thought. The spider had the ability to planier shift to a different plane of existence. And we continued to explore the cabin, when suddenly the spider struck again and took Rival to this other plane, which, since I believe we've summarized to be I was about to call it the galactic plane, but it's not. It's the
astral plane.
Astral plane, which is
Yeah, it made a
a
mistake.
grey
Clicked on the wrong
scale
elf.
void of weird land masses and almost nebula-like, but cold and neutral. And luckily, Rival, using his skill and prowess, managed to injure the spider enough that it decided that
I was more trouble than I was worth.
and the spider then decided to leave him to die rather than actively fight him. Luckily, he left him to die in our plane of existence. It almost left him in its plane of existence, but no, he brought him back to the nest, and using human echolocation, the rest of the party managed to find Rivalon.
Otherwise
And
known as screaming.
and that is where the party set a trap to deal with this ethereal menace once and for all. And as was tradition, the elf got the final blow, splitting the spider's carapace through the eye with a well-placed knocked arrow. And we then carved it up and kept loads of its stuff. We then progressed and found the water source, and we found what we think might have been poisoning the water. The spider had been leaving carcasses of creatures that weren't necessarily natural to our plane of existence near the water, which decomposed and contaminated. But we also found the source of the mysterious noises, which was a broken amulet in an unmarked grave that was set as it was a protection charm, and it had the magic within it had kind of glitched out and broken up, and we summarized that something had happened here, and we were going to go continue our investigation back up at the farm.
All right.
Was that a suitable description of what happened last week?
Fairly, yes.
Do I get inspiration?
Haven't done that for months. Haven't done that for months. No.
Nope.
So, you are all inside of the cave. As I stated previously, you now have a small warding charm that looks like it would have at one point been worn on the neck. You've identified it. You've identified that it is broken, or at least malfunctioning. I don't believe you've done anything with it, though. Because you haven't even assigned a command word to it. So.
Because R1 has it, doesn't he?
R1 has it, yes.
It's just for my own notes. Did we last week assess what gender the skeleton might be?
None of you rolled a medical score high enough to forensically verify the gender of the skeleton.
Before we go, could we try that?
Didn't give him a Gil Grismore. Damn it.
The person I was going to ask to do that has just dropped out. Oh, Discord.
I'll have a crack at it.
Oh, awkward.
Gonna go with.
What the hell?
Gonna go with no. Unless they.
Ooh, Jesus.
19.
Yeah.
My ear. Ow. Sorry.
Oh, Rivalon with the 19. Look at that.
Yeah.
I'm using one of my precious attack rolls for your benefit here.
Yeah. Rivalon, you take a look at the skeleton to try and ascertain the gender that the skeleton was at one point in its life. But unfortunately, you were unable to figure out exactly what gender it was, as you do not have any expertise in forensically identifying a skeleton.
Would I, however?
I'm gonna go with no. I'm gonna go with no.
Like nobody would, because it's the medieval ages.
No, it's not. It's a fantasy realm.
It's the fantasy era. It's a fantasy. It's not medieval, but no. That's not.
If I was still playing my grave domain cleric, I think that would probably get a yes out of that.
Possibly, but you could weigh in the.
It would have to be backstory based. It'd have to be you worked as a surgeon.
He was
a medical examiner or something like that. That is done this.
Okay,
but
everybody.
Just having
worked it down to either male or female.
Well, yeah, that's only physically. We don't know what they identified as either.
How dare you assume that skeleton's gender? Okay, you're gonna be on Tumblr later. You're gonna be on Tumblr later, getting called out. Okay, how dare you?
Because it's a fantasy game. And I've yet to meet any other gender in this that I haven't killed with a bow.
I don't know. You never asked the spider what it was.
Oh God, no! Don't even start.
I did say that I haven't killed with a bow.
So, you're not able to figure out who this skeleton was. Past it's probably an adolescent of some sort.
Wait, I have a question about command words.
Okay.
If I choose a word, if I say that word, is it just gonna randomly activate, or can I do I have to focus and intentionally want to?
The command word is what will activate it, but it has to be spoken by you when you have the item. So somebody if your command word is I don't know, is like cat. If somebody across the room says cat, your
No, I
magical
know.
shield ward is not going to go.
No, but
Unless there was a problem with it.
If
Yeah,
I
unless there
say
was a problem.
cat, if I say cat, it's just gonna go. I can't be like.
Yeah, it has to be specific. That's usually how I go about it with command words, because it's meant to be used that way. I don't know if I think some people use it in their campaigns where it has to be focused on and you say the word and that activates it. But I think with the way then you could just say then you focus on it to activate it. The command word I think actually being there is you have to, because it is your word to act, and that's what it is. So figure it out. Figure out what you don't ever say, and then use that.
Is it language specific?
Yes, it's the word. It's the word. So
Okay.
dose would be a word, but not two.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, that makes it a
Although
little easier.
dose can also mean dosage if you're saying it with an English tongue.
True. That is true. So
Dose.
figure that one out.
20 dose.
But yes. But yeah, you have not been able to ascertain, other than that the skeleton is dwarvish and was most likely an adolescent of some
And is
sort.
very dead.
And it's in
has
an
been dead for a
unmarked
while.
grave away from, almost hidden.
Yes, but that kind of goes without saying that you would figure that one out, because it is a fact of the location.
Okay, so I think we were going to head back up to the...
Toting your spider bits.
We're going to head back up to the farmer to inform him of what we have discovered.
I'm going to try and see if I can't just fix... Well, not maybe
Oh,
but see if we can figure out how to stop this whole water is poisoning everything and killing all the plants and stuff.
Yeah, actually...
Haven't fixed that part yet.
Yeah, that's kind of our job here.
Yeah, you should do that. Don't you have cure point or whatever it is?
I don't think I have cure specifically. Let me check my spell list.
Did we summarize a cause of death with this body?
No, not that you can figure out. No, it's just that there are small bits of skin and like leathery skin and stuff, but there's not there's
so
not
it hasn't
a body.
decomposed fully.
I mean, it's
was
like you
expecting
found a body that's been down for about maybe 10 or 15 years. There's still some bits of the actual body left, but most of it, 98% of it's just bones.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can still ascertain
bits that
cause of
haven't
death
been
if there was
exposed to the air for a while, have a little bit of the skin on it and stuff like that.
I'm just saying that you can normally, if can I see that there's a fucking hole in the head? Doesn't that with that?
You don't see any of that. No.
Okay.
But it has been underneath rocks most of its time, so and it was an adolescent, so it's not you wouldn't necessarily be able to, unless you use a really high medical check. Well, Rival could figure out there's no wounds on here that would be inflicted by an object that could, striking it. There's no cut marks.
There's no bludgeoning. There's no
bludgeoning. No.
Knife indentation between the C2 and C3 that vertebrae or anything.
Well, you wouldn't necessarily. Well, there's no connective tissue to show that separation there, so it'd be more. You'd have to.
Well, no, but you see that. Yeah, you'd see the nicks on the bone.
Yeah. No, and I would also say Rival doesn't have medical training. So
No,
but I have yet to roll.
I recognise a good
true.
kill wound when I see one.
It's true. I'll give him that much. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. You don't see that it was killed. It's just dead.
Okay, so
Obviously, because it's a skeleton.
Well, not so
here's the
obviously
funny
in this
thing,
world.
right? There is no real such thing as just a straight up cure poison spell, at least what I can find. There was protection from poison and stuff like that, and detect diseases. But there is lesser restoration, which is essentially all that I have. It cures end either one disease or one condition affecting it. Poison is a condition, so
Hold on a second.
yeah, the condition can be blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned. So if the water is poisoned,
touch a
technically
creature.
restoration. Oh yeah.
It says you touch a creature, which means it has to
Yeah.
be targeted on a creature.
Yeah. So yeah, I essentially have no spells unless you want me to take like a sample of this water and take my time trying to figure out how to fix it. It's more than likely not going to happen. At least not magically, anyway.
Alright, I figured out my command word.
Right, so what do we want to do about
Is
the
that in
poison?
Draconic?
We could
Yeah, it's in
clear up the
Draconic.
corpses that are causing a problem.
Yes.
Tell the people don't drink the water, monitor it. We've cleared the caves now. Monitor the water for the minute, and it should eventually clear up by itself, surely,
Put a
if this
boil
is a
order on
spring
it.
source. Well, no, what I'm saying is you clear the source of the contamination. Eventually, it will run its course. If this is sort of cave spring
Yeah.
water
That's true.
and it's flowing,
Yeah.
right? It's flowing, so that this isn't stagnant sitting water, is it? So effectively, it would eventually, in time, clear itself up.
Okay.
Yeah, like
well,
you pull all
let's
the
clear
bits
the
of
bones.
Yeah, you pull a bit of skin and bones and all that out of like the embankments near the water, and maybe that'll help a good bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you clear up the area, and then the people just have to monitor the water, and eventually it should go fine again.
And I can always give them another 30 gallons of water because cleric.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do that then.
Okay, you spend, I'm going to say, you spend the better part of 2 hours just going around this spring because it looks like the spider has been around for a while, and there's a fine coating of dust on the ground from just age, and as you go by, you continue finding some skeletal bits, half-eaten bits of creatures, just sprinkled around. So where are you putting them specifically? Are you like putting them in a corner away? Or are you taking to a passage that's up above the water line? Like what do you
Put them in the old spider's nest.
And then we should burn them.
Also, I'm going to turn off the pendant thing.
Okay, yeah, you say in Draconic, and Sesh and Isaac, you both hear him say the word safeguard in Draconic, and you feel the magical energy like warm in on the pendant in your hand for a second before, and it's gone, and the color in the gem doesn't go away, but it gets much more muted, and now it seems to be down, and you can tell everybody immediately in the back of your mind. You didn't notice it then. You ever have like some white noise going, like a blowing furnace or something going for a while, and you just stop noticing it after about 20 minutes, but when it goes off, it's like, holy shit, it's quiet in here now. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, but in the back, you've had something in the back of your head since you've entered this cave, and now that it's gone, it's like tension is just like melts away from you, and you feel a lot better.
Like a smoker having a cigarette after 3 or 4 days of not smoking.
I'm gonna bury the body as well.
Okay, yeah, you can get that going. Like you kind of get it.
Like I'll do that while they like deal with the bones.
Okay, so yeah, you do that, but yeah, you feel all the kind of a tension that was building up in the back of your mind and in your shoulders kind of melt away as soon as Arwan says the word, and caves don't feel as dark anymore, and they don't feel as tight and claustrophobic, even though they haven't changed physically. It's just this effect that this malfunctioning ward had. But yeah, you bring all of the bones and stuff, and just passing because you've got Ustenia and you have Rivellon, who are both very well versed woodsmen in various different regions and hunters. There's just a smattering of things here. You've got a boar, you've got a wolf skeleton with a perfectly preserved head. It looks like the thing actually like sucked the juice out of all of the meat, and it's just like when Ustenia picks up the skull, all the skin and soft tissue like sloughs off, and it's almost like a perfectly preserved like wolf skull. Like this thing was just drinking what it was eating. for the most part. And you find things that you can't identify. These really weird, very, very thin and almost impossibly strong bone structures that are ethereal in nature, translucent in some portions, but still strong. You think that might have something to do with its hunting grounds and other planes, but you all pile these up, and it makes a good waist-high pile for the average-sized human, in terms of just bones and refuse of all these things.
So it's an R1 size pile.
Yeah.
No, it's taller than R1. He comes up to your knee.
He just gets smaller and smaller.
All right.
Smaller and smaller as the campaign goes on. R1's going to be a microscopic.
Like Isaac's getting balder and balder, and R1's getting smaller and smaller.
I'm not bald in any way.
Rivals
We signed the contract.
Deadly. Yeah,
we're starting
great.
it now. So, but yeah, you've got it set up. So are you just you're just putting a torch? You're just putting a torch to it. You're just lighting it.
That's not how you burn bones.
Well, what fuel do you have to burn bones?
I don't know.
I might actually have some oil. Let me check. Maybe. I don't know.
You are fairly certain that it would catch, for at least catch, because the skin is very paper-like and dry, and it would probably go.
Oh. All right. In that case,
that's about all you've got in terms of fuel. That's with the bones itself, bones and bits that are left over.
No, I don't have any oil. Just to clarify.
We have tinder and tinder boxes and stuff, don't we?
Yeah, I have tinderbox.
All right, you set a light to the pile, and it starts burning. You're not exactly sure how much will burn off, because kind of the bones are not combustible usually until they get very, very dry, and then still. But it's burning. At least most of what would have been the soft tissue will be gone probably by the time this burns out. But you're doing this in the old spider lair. I'm assuming you also cleared out. You cleared the webs from the floor that the fire would be set up on, so it doesn't catch the whole chamber on fire.
I mean, it'd be an easy way to get rid of all the cobwebs.
It's true. But yeah. Oh, by the way, as you're working through this because I said it was about 2 hours. As you're working through this, you notice the cobwebs drying out very quickly. All the webs that seems the spider had set up are starting to like wither very, very fast and become these wispy after images of like an actual web. Looks like as the longer the spider has been dead and is not there, this material made from itself that was created the web is also ebbing away from this plane.
Weird.
Yeah, dimensional shit. Planar shit, it's weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, just before we do anything else, I just want to say, not going to the Forest of Spiders if that place actually exists, okay?
For context, in our private D&D group,
spiders.
In our private D&D chat that we have, Mikey shared a picture of a place on a D&D map called the Forest of Spiders, and my response is, I'm going to need a bigger fireball, and Rival was just like, nope.
Rivals.
And that's a very
Rival
polite
doesn't
way of
like
putting
spiders.
what I said.
Yeah.
Actually,
Rival
I don't.
doesn't
It's
like
not.
spiders.
It's not a D&D map. It's a new game. I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but it's meant to. It's.
I don't care.
Is it the Age of Wonders?
I don't care.
Thing?
The Age of Torture is what it's from.
I don't remember. I'll take a quick look.
All right, but you now have set light to the pile, and you've got all your you got all your spider bits together, and you've reburied the body of the person that was down here. Seems to be fairly quiet. Or what do you all want to do?
I think we should head
Age
back
of
to
Wonders
the farm.
Fall is what that's from. The newest one.
Oh.
That's
Anyway,
nice. We're still not going.
That's not.
Which
Still not
So heading
releases
back up.
tomorrow, maybe, I think?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll head back up to the farm. One, to explain about the water source, and also I have a few questions. Sorry, Isaac has a few questions.
Has a few questions.
Detective Midge is on the case again.
One Detective Midgeman.
All right.
Rival
begin
wants-
your-
rival
There's
wants to
been
buy
a
the
murder.
Good reference, Utari.
So, you begin your journey back to the surface, going back through the winding tunnels and the old abandoned mine that is this underground passage. And it takes you about an hour. So, when you get out of the actual underground cave, in this old mine, it's still daylight, but it's late afternoon. You spent the better part of the day underground, dealing with this situation, except for Rival, who had a bit of time in another plane, who was technically not underground, technically not in any. He's just not for a while.
And he
in
didn't
this
even
plane.
get to take any memento photos or anything because he was too busy killing a spider.
Well, you did miss a gift shop, but you were kind of busy at the time.
No, leave that open.
But yeah, and then you start heading back towards the farmstead. It's not too far away from the exit to the mine, and you just continue on. Did you have your horses at the farmstead, or did you
Yeah,
take
they're
them to
looking
the,
after them.
Okay, so yeah, on foot you begin your journey back, and you finally arrive at the farmstead. Again, took you the better part of an hour to get there, and it's getting close to the end of the day. You've got maybe 2 or 3 hours of daylight left for the day, and you arrive and you see basically what you saw before, a pretty sleepy farmstead, or at least it looks such. There's not a lot of activity, a few people milling about between buildings. It's about it. You do see your horses have been hitched to a post in front of a trough that's about half full of water. And Barry's there as well.
Oh yeah, the
Doesn't have
Minnesotan
the board.
dwarf.
Right.
Remember him?
Oh,
I'm
no,
gonna-
Barry's the dog.
I'm gonna
Oh,
go
yeah.
talk to Bilden
Okay.
Willowbrook.
Mr. Willowbrook. You ask a lady who was looking after the horses, where he is, and she points you to to the main building of the farmstead, and just go knock on the door. He should answer. He's I think he's working on his dinner right now. And you head up, knock on the door to the front, and it's a little porch that you get up onto and knock on the door, and hear a couple of dinging of like pots and pans, and then a couple of heavy footfalls getting closer to the door, and it opens, and you see the dwarf that you saw earlier, a very short, golden-haired dwarf. Then he looks out, then up. He's used to dealing with his own kind. Goes, "Oh, Isaac, sir." Or no, I had a minute. Oh, Isaac, sir. How are you? How'd you get along underneath down in the spring there?
May we come inside?
Oh, yeah, you could come inside. I don't know how much room's gonna be available. He swings the door open wide.
You go with a 6-foot guy and a 7-foot dragonborn and a barbarian.
The barbarian.
It's like a clown
It's quite
car.
roomy in here, actually.
He swings the door
Shut up,
open, and
Barwood.
you see the building you're in is a 2-story building, but the first story is a bit smaller than normal kind of building dimensions, and so there's kind of the half hunch just going
Like
through.
Gandalf and Hobbiton.
A little
back
bit
end,
less than
yeah.
that, but it's still noticeable. It's a little bit less, but yeah, definitely for Sesh. He's like,
my neck.
yeah.
Have been in those situations before. Not pleasant.
Have a seat if you can find one. He's kind of like blows off some dust on a seat and shimmies it over to a table that he's got in his this dining room, and got chairs there for you. So, what can I help you with?
Well, first of all, the matter with the water. We think we solved the problem. It will take a little while for the water to become usable again, but we think with time and if you keep a close eye on it, it should return to normal.
That's good to hear. Do you know what was causing the whole little problem? There.
That is part one of the bad news side of things. There was a creature in the cave that was using the area near the water source as its lair and hunting ground. I'm afraid we don't think your farmhands made it. But the creature was dispatched, and it shouldn't bother you anymore.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that about them. But I'm glad that it got dealt with.
Can I insight check him, please?
Me too.
Go ahead.
Skills. Insight. That's a 1.
That's a 17. I got a +5 to insight.
Nat ones don't count in this case because you get your +7.
Oh, yeah.
You get your +7.
didn't we?
Remember that.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that's a thing.
Natural ones and natural 20s are only automatic successes or failures during
combat.
The actual combat inside of skill checks.
I keep forgetting
and
that.
checks. So you actually only rolled an 8, which I mean is still shit. But
hey, I rolled a 1. You know, I got an 8 from a 1, which is
that's true.
You know,
but Sesh, it's a bit hard to read. He looks kind of sad about it. Isaac, you get that from what you get, he looks to be surprised that there was a creature down there, and he looks to be a little taken aback that when you told him that his hands are dead. He looks to be kind of, you wouldn't say like unconsolable or anything. He's just, he's like, well, that's really unfortunate. Like,
okay, so it's genuine rather than...
Yeah, it's genuine. He's not putting it on, at least from what you can tell. But you helped us, so that means you've earned your reward. Why don't you just give me a few minutes, if you please? And he kind of gets off of his chair and he walks out of the room, and you hear him go around the corner, up a couple of stairs, upstairs for a couple of minutes, rummaging around. Kind of echoes a little bit in the house, all just sitting around, alone in the dining room.
The sound of a mechanical keyboard is heard in the distance.
Got a typist in his study. Then after a few minutes, he comes back down, and there's he comes into the dining room, and he's carrying a fairly hefty sack of, from what the sound of it, of like jingling pieces of metal. Okay, well, this is what we promised that we'd give. This is 300 if you want to count it. Go ahead and count it.
I'll count it.
1, 2.
Oh,
Yes,
God.
she is.
Sesh is off.
She is
off
a
to the side
merchant.
counting.
She is a merchant, so she feels like she has to count the gold.
Also, before we leave, Sesh will provide you with some more usable water to help tide you over until the source clears naturally. I do have another line of inquiry, however.
What can I help you with?
What do you know about the water source down there? Specifically, anything around it?
Well, my grandfather dug the well down to it about 130 years ago. Maybe longer. I wasn't alive then, but it was fairly mundane, just a normal well. I know it connected to the mine. There's a cave system nearby the source that connects to a mine, but the mine's been abandoned for 70 years, maybe a bit longer than that. I remember that.
So, have you never been to the source of the water?
No. Kind of stay away from the mine. The only way to get to it, because the mine had a couple of cave-ins back about 70, 80 years ago. A couple of people got hurt around that time, and it's not really been seen as too safe since then. So we try and stay away from it. Haven't had a reason to go down to check the source, because bring up the water from the source.
Not even when you were a kid?
I spent most of my time in Gorgon when I was a child.
Insight check.
Go ahead.
Same, if I'm allowed. Because, I'm counting money.
24!
What?
You're getting better.
Yeah, it's an upward swing. It's an upward swing, which is always a good thing. It's always a good thing.
18. Please try and call out the numbers, guys, for the podcast.
That's true. 18 and 24. Seems to be telling the truth. Doesn't seem to be obviously telling a falsehood there. Spent most of his time, or at least he says he spent most of his time as a child in Gorgon.
What about the answer? So
Talking
he
about
hasn't.
the whole statement.
I'm saying as in as an answer to my question, because I asked him if
he doesn't seem to be telling a lie. Seems when he said there was the mine's a little unstable and that there was a couple cave-ins 70 or 80 years ago.
But he hasn't been down there, was my question.
Doesn't seem like he's lying.
The reason we ask is why, while we were down there, we found, unfortunately, the unmarked grave of an adolescent. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
Adolescent? No.
Dwarven, what we seemed.
Back about 70 years ago, when the last cave-in happened, I do remember there was talk of a child of one of the miners getting caught in behind a cave-in deeper in the mine. I don't think they ever found him alive. I was too young to really know too much about it. Wouldn't talk around the kids about that. Possible when they finally got through, he might have been dead. I don't think there's a lot down there to live on, except maybe rats. Could have been him.
Do we need to roll fresh insight checks?
If you want to know if he's telling the truth about that statement, yes.
I'm assuming, more fresh insight checks.
I got an 18.
Go, boys. Insight. Oh, okay. Yeah, upward swing. Very nice.
23 for
23.
Sesh. Yeah.
Start
It's
off garbage and just work your way up. It's good.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Well, you're focusing now on the
The money.
coins and
Yeah.
your money. It's focusing.
She got stacks
everything.
of 10 gold in front of her, like when you're a kid counting up your pocket change.
Yeah. It's hard to tell. He does seem to be trying to remember something from his childhood, and that's obviously difficult if you're older. And he's talking about this thing he heard when he was a kid about another kid being stuck behind a cave-in, and that seems to be true. And he does seem to be telling no falsehood when he says he thinks maybe that's that kid, but he's not sure. He didn't get told what happened to him after the after
He
it was
doesn't believe
cleared.
he is lying. Is what I'm getting from that. This is his sort of what he remembers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What he remembers.
cool.
Is what
All right.
he thinks he knows, and that you both get that from that. Isaac, you're a little bit less set on that point, but you're getting the feeling that he's not lying directly or anything. He's telling you what he thinks is the truth, or at least what he thinks is a plausible explanation.
Do you know if the family of the possible missing child or deceased child are still in the area? From your recollection.
Probably not. I wasn't too much into the farm back then. That was my father's purview. I only took over when he died about 15 years ago. But I do know that even back then, we only deal with short-term debtors on the farm. The Willowbrooks don't work it. If you looked out, you saw a couple of individual farm buildings. Those are where our workers work, and they pay off their debts and they move on. Fairly certain. I don't think the Copperborn or the Hazelstones were working here 70 years ago.
So, what if I was to tell you that we summarized that this adolescent had only been down there 15 years?
That would be interesting. Don't think there's been any reported missing since then. I know there hasn't been any reported missing since I've taken over.
No whispers just before you got here?
Not that I know of. And there was a lot of things I had to take care of when my father died.
Like what?
Had the Jade breaks. They paid off their debts, but they still wanted to work the farm and get paid. We had to work through that. Gave them a deal for 2 years working on the farm till they could get a bit of money so they could move out. Tried to be a little nice to them. They were always good workers. We had a bit of a debt when it came to our sellers in Gorgon for our goods. They were overcharging us. I found, so we worked through that. Took a little bit of wheeling and dealing on my part, if I don't say so myself. About it. Pretty mundane. Nothing too out of the ordinary for a farm.
So, who around here would have also been here? Maybe just worked under your father? Any of those still around?
No, like I said, we hire debtors. They pay off their debts and then they leave. The Jade Breaks were the last family that still worked, but they don't know where they're at anymore. They like I said, they left. I think they left for Norderim or one of the northern holds.
Well, thank you for your time, sir. It's It was just peculiar. It was a peculiar find, and I think we've cleared everything up.
Are there any
All right.
other settlements
Question.
around here, sir?
Well, what do you consider a settlement?
Farms, small
There's plenty.
farms.
Massive friggin' tower.
That's the college, isn't it?
So, there's a college down south along the coast for mages. They pass by every so often, but we don't interact with them much, really. There's a couple of farms all scattered around, but there's nothing too big. I think we're the largest farmstead.
Arwen's other future ex-wife working at the.
Not working, studying. Get that correct.
She's got to pay off those student loans.
But anyway, I think we're done here unless anyone else has any questions.
No.
I want to buy a new bow.
Well, thank you, sir. I'm glad that we could have helped you, and
I'm glad you could have helped as well. It would have, if you could, even if you couldn't help the two hands, but at least the farm will keep going. That's the important part.
I offer to shake his hand.
Takes it and shakes it. It's got a good firm grip.
May Palor's light guide your day. And I get up and leave.
Sure. And then
I will offer my deepest condolences for the loss of your two workers, sir.
Thank you.
Oh,
And that'll be all
Giant
I'll say.
spider.
do you have any more barrels that you require filling before we leave?
There should be a couple near your horses. I was originally going to ask you if you could provide some more water. Depending on how things went down there. If you could help with that, since you offered, it is there.
Okay, we will do
help
that
quite
as
a
we
bit.
leave.
All right, I will. It's a level 1 spell, and I believe I could cast it. How does it work when I cast it higher level?
I got a question for the DM. How far south of Gorgon are we?
You're less than like 2 hours walk. Like you're an hour's ride, you're 2 hours walk. So it's barely out of Gorgon. You could still, if you look past the haze of the horizon, you can see the sky tower. Like that's how close you are. You're not that far off.
How much? If I had to take a guess, how many gallons of water do I need to fill up all of these barrels?
I mean, he's got quite a few there. It's a farm, so they have a lot of water-type barrels that they usually store like things.
All right,
into.
I'll give them 30 gallons. I'll use up a single 3rd level slot and give them 30 gallons of water.
You do so, and that fills up they're 10-gallon barrels, so you fill up about half that are set there, and it's clean water, and yeah,
Clean, fresh water out of the ether.
Yep.
I just imagine bottled water straight out the ether.
Right out of the ether.
You are just breaking the laws of physics there.
Yes, entirely. But fuck it, who cares?
What are physics?
It's like the water.
When I fire my bow at you, the arrow will continue to go until it hits you.
It's like the war on Earth in the 40K universe. Like, where did the seas go? They just boiled up. Where's the water gone?
We don't fucking know.
No,
We just
you
don't have
missed
water
your
anymore.
quotes. Where's the rum gone?
Where's the rum gone?
You obviously haven't seen the Emperor's text-to-speech device.
Yeah, I drank all the rum. Is the biggest problem.
Isaac,
so.
can I see the map?
Of course. I hand you the map.
All right. You have access to them.
Yeah, I know.
To the image.
But in character.
In character.
Yeah.
So knowing how long it took us to get from Sleet Hall to Gorgon, can I estimate how long it would take us to get to the school?
Too long.
I can tell him that I've got cartographer's tools.
You do.
Oh, right. Isaac, how long do you think it would take to get to that school of magic?
You'd probably a day or two. from the looks of the road and where you have to go, because it doesn't look like there's a road actually going straight from Gorgon there. You have to go through this small settlement to the south, which doesn't have a name on the map. Probably like a equivalent of a college town.
Party!
Campus is it? It's a campus.
So what you're telling me is we're going to go and actually just get drunk at a college.
No, I'll tell you what
No.
I'm thinking on the way back.
We know what you're thinking.
No, he's
What
thinking.
does it tell us?
I know what
is
he's thinking.
school?
I have like a natural perception of 17. I totally know what R1 is insinuating here.
He
But
wants to
will-
go get his new amulet fixed, and he summarizes that the best place to do it is in a college full of mages.
Or find a way to fix it, yes.
I will also inform Yustinia of what a college is, because I assume I had to go to one when I was doing my whole medicine thing. So,
It's more of an apprenticeship, but you know what a school is.
yeah. I mean, it was more of a learning on the job
I'm
style
sure
thing. Like,
Ustinia knows what a school is.
It's more... Titian's
Ustinia, do you know what a school is?
No, what's a school?
Okay then, I
it's where people go to learn.
I overestimated your culture.
They don't learn with their fathers and mothers, and their uncles and aunts.
They do to an extent.
It is
not-
like a gathering place where the younger of a community or many communities come together to listen to elders, and the elders impart knowledge.
Ah, yes, I know exactly what that is. Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do they
The
do this
equivalent to
like
saying-
once a year, once a month, or
Every
the-
day.
every
The equivalent,
day?
the equivalent to Stenia for you would be there is a Uteshian like clans are made up of a whole bunch of closely knit families, and so what would happen would be the oldest of the family's children would get together, while all of also the leaders of the families would get together in a clan meet, and they would all kind of intermix and talk and share stories and stuff, because it's usually very spread out. And that happens only so often, like when there's a choosing for a new family leader, or when there's a funeral that's going to happen, or when the hunting season's over and you're trading things between each other. There's that kind of thing. So maybe once or twice a year, like that would happen. And it's
Yeah,
a
I got
big
that sort of
deal.
impression. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big deal when it happens, because it's like, oh, I get to see my third cousins, and I haven't seen them in a long time.
I get to drink. I try to drink this fermented milk with my cousin. Hey, Nico!
A lot of alcoholic beverages.
Yeah.
Nicolette, it has been too long since we have ride together.
Just like college. Lots of alcoholic drinks.
Yes,
that is,
you're not wrong.
Okay,
No,
I
it was
understanding now. And I understand in the college now. It is like our gatherings with the clans.
Just every day for
Just
years.
every day. That I don't know. I'd go crazy if I had to see Nikolai every single day. I mean, it's okay a couple of times a year. It's very fun, but every day, I mean, I go glue.
he is a bit of asshole.
I mean, I think that's why college
cousin,
students
you want
drink
to
so
go
much.
bowling?
Bowling is just like you get bones and just a big skull that you've like
It's like
pounded.
Grand Theft Auto, where he constantly calls you up. Hey, cousin, we should do something.
Hey,
That's his-
cousin, let's go get a bleeder burger.
That's his cousin.
Yeah,
This is
totally.
cousin Nikolai.
Alright.
But yeah, it'd be 1 or 2 days travel on horseback probably. It'd take you a little bit longer on foot, because you're quite literally where you're at right now is just like in the middle of the G of
G.
Gorgon on the map.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
that's where you're at. Like it's
Wow.
you have not gone far on foot. Like this map is not to scale in a lot of ways. It's
Right.
an approximation.
That's usually how things work back then as well. They're like, it's kind of like that, but not really. It's good enough.
So yeah. Where are you? Are you just wanting to head back into Gorgon now? Now that you've done your.
I want to sell my spider trinkets.
What
And then buy
time?
myself a new bow.
What
Be
time
back in
of
a
day
second.
is it?
Evening.
You've
And
got
what
about
day is
3
it?
hours. You've got about 3 hours before it's the sun starts going down. It's the 7th of Eldine, or it is Taislag, which is basically the Monday.
Which means we'll be able to get back in time for Last Light. I can go do prayers. I can go inform the the Temple of Our Success, and they can help us out with Mr. Bosch.
And I'm assuming going
in
back
the
to
coming
Gorgon will
days.
extend our traveling time an awful lot, you know?
Oh no,
Because they're only an hour out of Gorgon, so
it's an hour out of Gorgon. No, you just
Yeah.
you go in. It would be 2 hours before daybreak, and you're kind of just in Gorgon.
Rivalon can also sell his spider bits. Then we can sleep for that. The next day, I think Ustinia can pick up his new armor set. It sounds good to me. And we go from there.
yeah. All in all, it sounds like an excellent time, and I think my tiger eye will be ready as well.
I'm also going to put in your inventory the 300 gold that you just got. So
Oh yeah,
that adds to the that adds to the 116 that you already have. So in your community chest.
Unity chest. So we want to divide
chest?
that by 6, don't we?
Yes.
5.
No, 6. We divide it by
Right.
5 party members in the community chest.
So you have 416 inside your community.
Yeah, we
bank
just
right now.
wanted to divide the 400.
300.
Wait.
Just loot the 400.
Did Sesh just take over as party bookkeeper?
Yeah.
Okay.
She did count that 300 a remarkable time.
50. So everyone gets 50 gold.
1,
Pretty
2,
simple.
3.
Yay.
All right, and that's for you divided that amongst.
That's for
300?
everybody, and then the party loot gets 50 as well. So it's
Okay.
166 should be in the party gold thing.
And we each get 50.
And
We
then we
each
each
get
get
50.
50. Yeah.
Yay!
We each get a nice
Yep.
even 50 gold.
Yep, that works.
Uh,
All right.
I'm also
you
a
do-
merchant, so there's that too. So it makes a lot of sense. I actually am like trained in merchants, so it makes sense
Alright.
perfectly.
So you begin your journey back.
Wait, hold
To
up.
the-
That math doesn't work.
You had
400
By
300.
300 by
300 divided by 6. Okay.
yeah, just the gold that we got. We're not dividing what's already in the party.
Wait,
Yeah,
how
so-
much?
Right. Okay.
You all
That's
each
right.
get
300.
50.
Yeah,
You each
we each
get
get
50.
50.
Math live on a
obviously.
stream.
Yeah.
Do the maths.
I apologize to all you guys on the podcast because we know it's boring.
This is
gotta be
D&D, Yeah. All right, you do that while you're traveling.
Yeah, that's fair.
And by the time you've finished and have kind of doled out all of the coins to the individuals and put like 50 more inside of this bag that's on one of the horses that you keep all of the party coins. Like there's a saddle bag. You've just got
It had been
coins and
on
stuff.
Barry for the longest
Okay.
time.
Well, we
That
should.
poor dog.
Yeah, it's probably getting quite heavy now. We should probably
Yeah, we
put,
might
it,
need to move it.
put it on one of the
I'll
horses.
volunteer.
And
I'll
I
volunteer
want-
to take that if you want. I'll volunteer to hold on
I
to
weigh like
the party
30
loot.
pounds.
Yeah, the gold
There's-
probably weighs more than you do.
Yeah, I know, but it's that extra £30 makes all the difference. That poor dog.
Yeah, true.
That's true.
That dog
But
is
you do
buff now.
arrive. Yeah.
The dog is just
He already
shredded.
was.
Why are we not?
Shredded.
Why are we not using my horse for this? It's designed for this very thing.
I know, that's
Hang apart, guys.
Yeah, it is a draft horse.
Yeah, I think all of us own a draft horse.
Yep.
No,
Yeah.
I have a riding
Apart
horse.
from yeah,
Yeah.
Milan has to be the the non-utility one.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm all about speed and killing.
I'm all about surviving.
And
riding
my horse is
do you do?
exactly the same.
Yeah, your riding horse will do you good in combat, but when you got to ride for days and days and days, months and months and months, you won't be able to take much water and food with you. You will starve, and then you will eat horse, and then you have no horse.
Sounds like a lesson you learned personally.
And we all just got a Uteshian Christmas carol. We all eat horse, and there was no horse.
Now we all dead.
Yeah.
So, you all arrive in Gorgon. It is the same city that you have been in for, at this point, the majority of your time together. I'm pretty sure you've spent a couple of weeks.
DM,
Yes.
did the horses make it?
Yes.
That's okay. I just wanted to know whether I had to eat my horse on the way back.
God. You know, I actually I keep getting these really funny looks from my girlfriend every time I come out with these little Justinianisms, like the out of context nature of it. So she's only getting half the story. Bless her. I love her so much.
Oh, that's good.
We love her too.
So you arrive in Gorgon. It is the same city you've been in for a couple of weeks at this point. Active and bustling, though it is tapering off at the end of the day. So what do y'all want to do while you're in the
I think
town?
we should all go with Isaac for moral support when he goes to see how disappointed the Mother Superior is in him again.
Yes, because we don't want Isaac jumping off the nearby balcony, even though he has wings.
I would take this time.
Oh, that would suck. The wings sprout up because your god tells them to, and then you can't end it. You're just like, damn you!
Paylor!
Well, that's one of those idiot deaths. You jump off of the things, but you forgot that you've used your charge for your wings for today, so you...
Right. So are you all going with Isaac, or are you going to sell off your spider bits?
I will sell my spider bits if we have time afterwards, or tomorrow morning.
I mean, I'm going to pray first. You might as well sell them.
I'm just going to point out, you do know that as these things, because you have sold things to merchants, like that you've taken off of creatures before, there is a period in which they are usable, and there are also, but as time
to
goes
the
on,
shop.
they start degrading. You know,
To the shop. Yeet.
Rot is a thing.
I'll go with
To the shop.
to this shop. Help cut them off. I'm damn well going to see them get sold.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right.
And you will damn well get paid for your help.
Okay. So I'm going to say
with Isaac.
No, you're not.
I'll go with the two crazy people.
I'm going with Isaac.
Which part of the party is that? That's just a
find
whitewash
out, shall we?
statement that could be. I'm going with the two crazy people. Which ones? The music and religious one, or the murderous ones?
Murderous ones.
Well, the murderous ones tend to be the ones that need my help the most because they tend to get hit a lot. So
I don't know. Have you seen how many times I've been stabbed?
I mean, yes, a lot.
I mean, you get seen about 20 times during that one encounter.
No, he was blindfolded at the time. He didn't see any of that.
He heard it though.
I just heard her
Every
filling
single
you-
one of them, because it was accompanied by just a grunt. It's like,
my kidneys.
So, while three of you go to the or two of you go to the temple, and begin your journey that direction, three of you head towards the merchant district. I'm gonna have if you want to help Rivellon, he can have advantage on an investigation check to find the individuals that would buy these components from him.
Well, I've been around this area a lot. I've done some shopping here. I'm going to help you for sure.
All right,
He would know.
Rivellon,
I am
roll an investigation check with advantage.
With advantage.
Wow.
I
A 2 and a 9 plus 2,
That's
so you
nice.
got rolled an 11. All right.
And then
So
drop
I'm
to
gonna
my knees and go, dear God, please let me roll again.
Which one are you speaking to?
during the time you have left in the day, when the
Yes.
shops are open, you
Yes.
are able to find places to sell these items. And what you are offered is, for the eyes that you have, you're offered about 30 gold apiece for every total eye you have. The fangs are worth 100 gold apiece if they're whole,
Yep.
and the rest of the miscellaneous body parts you can sell to this potion maker that's selling at the back of his cart for about 200 gold pieces. He'll give you for the lot,
Okay.
not including
so
the eyes.
let me
and
just
the-
get
and the
this
fang.
right. The eyes are 30 gold pieces each,
Yes.
right? We've Moogle to my
I
pen.
have a calculator up just telling you how many you have.
Okay, that's 4.
30
So
times
that'd be
4.
120.
Yes, plus 100 for the fangs. How many fangs do you have?
6.
So that's 6. That's 600. So that's 720.
Plus another, was it 100 pieces, 100 gold pieces for all the
200.
assorted bits?
200 for the assorted bits.
That's
Okay, in which
920 gold pieces.
Money!
Yes.
Money,
I will
money,
sell
money.
a lot.
All right, you
Money.
sell. All right, you talk with this half elf potion maker. He's trying to, he's looking it over. He's, oh, this is good quality. I think I could do quite a bit with this. Yeah.
Where do you get it so fresh in this plane of existence?
Don't ask questions you do not want answered.
On a Monday of all days, too. This time of year. But you are able to sell it, and you do get the agreed upon amount. So you got whatever we came up with, about
920 gold pieces.
920 gold pieces for the lot.
I give Ustenia 200.
That. Wait a second, just double check. Did you have the blink organ or the transdimensional organ? Were you selling that along with that, or was that a separate thing that you?
Yes, I was selling that as well.
Okay, good. Yeah, you only got 20. You only got the 200 for the body part, but then yeah.
Okay, so you're giving Yustenia how much off the get-go?
200.
Okay. At least you was 720 gold.
Whoa. Just 200? And we got that much?
Yes.
Why
I was
only
doing it on
200?
my own. You decided to help.
No. Do not cheapskate me. You wanted to be there for hours and hours and hours doing that on your own. I helped you. Come on.
I'd like to point out.
Okay,
I take point out. I would like to point out that if it wasn't for me, both of you would be dead and still bleeding.
Yeah,
on the
we
floor.
appreciate that.
Okay.
And we killed the spider. We did the most damage to it.
Saying damage.
If it wasn't for
I'm
me,
not there, but
excuse me. Separate plane of existence, and I was still shivving the bloody thing. You weren't anywhere near us, Isaac.
I'm not.
I don't know why I'm
not
talking to you. You're not even here.
Like, just
can you just feel me tutting in the background? Is that what's going on? It's just like
this half elf who's got an armful of spider bits is going like, I'm gonna go.
Right. Rival knows he's cocking someone over, so he just feels the judgment in the back of his head. It's just like...
I mean, if you're keeping the 620 gold for yourself. Yeah. Sorry, what?
Yeah, cheers, thank you.
So that's 810 I've got.
Oh, you're keeping the rest of it for yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you gave 300 to Stenia.
Yeah, which leaves him with 620, which means whatever he has laying after that.
I'm going to a weapon shop.
All right. Well, by the time
Hold on. Before you go anywhere, look. Let's just keep this between ourselves. We give our good cleric a little bit just so that she's happy, and then no one will go and tell the others, and we lose out. Because then you got to share with everyone, right? But we keep her happy. You give her a little bit, keep her happy. We keep it between the three of us. That sound good to you?
Let me ask real quick. How much are you keeping this to yourselves? Because she's actively listening to you guys.
Yeah, he knows. He knows. He's operating on the assumption that you're in on this, but he's just directly addressing Riverlord.
All right, that's fair.
He's not really being secret about it.
Yeah. So that's what I was trying to say. Are you being secretive? Okay, cool. Because she'll hear you because she has natural 17 passive perception. She knows you're there. So.
Yeah. Does Ustinia do anything quietly?
No.
That's a good point.
Murder people quietly on occasion.
So, what do you
by
think?
bisecting them.
Yes.
Look, we can then just keep it, rather than having the others and then we gotta split it, all the ways, just give it a little bit.
Depends how much a little bit is.
What do you think?
I'm not saying anything. I'm just standing there. I'm actually, I know exactly what she says.
50 gold. And we keep things, we keep it between us.
110.
Okay, so Roach, how insulted should I be by this?
Well, Rivalon should just say 110. So that makes you feel a little bit that it's you come from a merchant family, but you never worked as a merchant for a long time. You worked as a guard. So you got paid you got paid a gold piece and a half every day, is what
Yeah.
you got paid before, because you were slightly above a normal trained.
Because I was
kind
a
of pay.
medical specialist and all that
So-
stuff. Yeah.
So this would have taken 110 would have been the better part of a year's worth of work, or a little bit under a year's worth of work, or no, under half of a year. Yeah.
Oh, hang on, I'll
worth
figure
of-
it out for you.
Well, whatever.
It's a gold piece, and it's quite a few months worth of work for you to get paid that much. So that's pretty good. You already got 50 gold pieces in there, which is,
This is true. I'll give you that much. Yeah, I've already got 50 gold out of this.
Yeah.
Things are looking up for you working for this party.
Excellent. All right, okay, to the weapon shop.
I haven't said yes yet. It's about 200. It's about 243 days. Would have been how much you needed to work to get 110.
So the better part of a year to get that.
Just over half
So,
a year. Yeah.
But only you can decide if your character's happy with it.
Yeah, just for context.
I was just trying.
that's
I was
what
just trying to get some context here because GMs tend to vary how much town guard
The
get
shop.
paid, especially when
Shop.
they.
So
are you
accepting?
Are you accepting the 110 that Rivlon offered you?
Offer going once, going twice. She'll take it.
All right.
There we
But
go.
she had-
Everyone happy.
She's also not promised anything, so remember that.
Hey,
She's just taking your gold.
Us.
She's just
Keep
taking
this
your gold.
between us. Yes, we good. Sesh, we good.
She doesn't say anything.
Come on, are you good or not?
I mean, I am lawful good.
All right, I'm taking the money back.
Alignment jokes. Wait.
It's already in my pocket, so you can't
Zing,
say anything
zing.
about
Don't
it.
care.
It's what he said. If he gave it
Yeah.
to, if he said he was only going to give it to you if you promised or not. So,
Yeah, that's true.
So what is your character doing?
She doesn't know you guys very well yet. I will say that much. She's only been with you guys, 3 sessions? 4? Maybe? Right?
Mhm.
Can't remember. It's been like 4 sessions since we got together, and I'm going to take it. I'm going to say yeah. She's going to say yes. I will keep this between us.
About
this
5
time."
days, 6 days. I think.
Yeah, about 6 days I've been with these people. So yeah, she's going to take the money because the money is very important to her. So she'll be like, I'll keep it to myself for now.
Very good. Everyone happy now, yes? All right,
I still haven't
you
got
go
my new
shopping.
Okay, so hold on a second. To answer a question that somebody posed to me.
Is it a good question?
Maybe.
It's an interesting question.
So, you're trying to go to an item shop or a weapon shop of
A
some
weapon
sort.
shop.
I'm gonna say with about the amount of time it took you with the roll that you had for investigation to find a
Weapon
a
shop.
good like a person to sell your spider bits to. You
Yep.
spent the most of what light you had left doing that. So by the time you're done with that and working out who gets paid what and how you're splitting up your earnings, you're at this point not you don't have enough light. It doesn't look like any of the shops are really open. They've been closing up for the last couple of minutes and things are starting to wind down in the square. So you probably have to do it tomorrow.
I hate it when people walk in like 2 minutes before closing. Like, I want everything in the shop, please. I hate that. I would actually murder you for doing that.
So that's
Wouldn't
about
I just want a bow that gives me more damage, and happens
Which would
to
probably
give me
mean you
one
need a
extra
magic one.
proficiency.
It should probably mean a magic one.
+2 bow would do the same.
Yeah.
+2 bows would have to be magical.
Yeah.
Plus
Has to be a
one.
magical
Even a
weapon.
+1. I don't think he has a +1. So
No,
Yeah,
don't.
I think we're all working with the basic stuff for the moment.
Rival's
some
got a
people
+1
have-
sword.
Rival's
I've
got
got
+1.
Oh, yeah.
I want a +1 bow.
Wait, Rival's getting all of the +1 equipment here?
Yeah, because he
Yeah,
keeps.
because he took all the gold.
He picked up that shit. He got it. Nobody else wanted the +1 short swords when he got it. So
No, he went and
picked
bought
up.
it.
Oh,
Yeah, I
right, he
did.
did buy it. Yeah, he spent all his money on it,
Yes,
and that's why he was so poor for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't find anything open. Then so you'd have to wait till tomorrow to try and look for something.
Fine.
You're going to wake up a bit early tomorrow to go shopping, essentially.
Yeah, I'll be getting up with Isaac.
Oh wow, it's way too early.
Yeah, and I'll be camping
everything.
outside the best weapon shop
Even
in
Isaac's
Dubai.
player doesn't wake up at the same time as Isaac.
Yeah. Fuck no. What?
Isaac's on autopilot in the morning.
Even I don't have to anymore.
It's true. Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm working in the same town. I don't have to get up that early anymore.
I was wondering. Yeah, I was wondering. Last couple of weeks, you haven't been as dead towards the end of the session. As you
Yeah, I
were
know.
before. It's good.
Good. I don't
It's
have
good
to get
for you
up
to be
till about
conscious.
7 o'clock in the morning. Fantastic.
That sounds really dodgy. Oh, it's good for you to be
Yeah.
conscious.
Yeah, it's not the dodgiest thing I've ever said.
Wow.
Let's
Not
be
the
honest.
dodgiest thing you've ever said, no.
Nope.
I mean, no, it's not because
it's not.
I was
There's-
editing podcast today, and I skipped through an entire conversation about Roach having women draw breasts in toilet bathroom walls and stuff, which was a bit of a.
That's an interesting conversation. That
I don't even
particularly
remember the conversation.
Yeah, I don't remember that either, to be honest.
Yeah.
Hey, so that's not nice. Let's read my chat.
So,
It's not unwarranted.
yeah. So we go back over towards Isaac. So are you doing anything out of like extra past just praying, or are you?
I'm doing evening prayer, and then I'm finding Sister Agatha.
Okay. You do not find Sister Agatha, but you do ask one of the the normal sisters, and says Sister Superior Agatha is busy. She can pass on anything that you wish to talk of. She might be able to get back to you tomorrow.
Okay. Well, inform her that Isaac has returned from helping the farmer with his problem, and he will be around at morning prayer to discuss further matters.
Nods her head. I will pass along that information at evening meal. And
Have a good evening.
you too. Goes back, and yeah. You, what are you doing during this R1? Are you still outside of the temple, just twiddling your thumbs?
Being
Or
that
are you
close
in
to
No,
the temple.
Did he come in and watch me pray?
That's a bit
No.
No, he
weird.
stands outside and sweats.
No, no,
because
no.
they're a church.
He was under the impression that you were going to talk to the sister first, and when that didn't happen, he just went back to
The pub.
what time was it? So it was going to be like
It's basically easy evening. The sun's
evening.
going down.
He's going to go
Yeah.
find somewhere to play, to perform.
Okay, give me a investigation check.
Who's playing some tribal drums?
23.
Yeah, that's
I
a
think that was
natural
just
20.
feedback. Actually,
Oh, wow.
Mm.
maybe just your hand banging off your microphone, Midge. I'm not sure.
Wasn't me. I was just hearing.
No, because I heard it. I was like, thanks. 23. You find a fairly good spot near kind of the affluent area of town. It is very much starting to wind down for the day, though. The town doesn't necessarily have a big nightlife,
Yeah.
but it looks like it could be nice for at least a little while. As a
Good
position,
enough for
so are
me.
you trying to play?
Yep.
Give me a performance check.
28.
All right. After about an hour's worth of playing, you make about 10 gold pieces. You know, just people passing by when they're heading home or stuff like that, like, you know, that kind of thing.
All right. And I'll just head back to wherever we decide to meet up.
Back at the bar, I think.
Yeah, unless you discussed another place that you're going to be staying now. But yeah, the broken.
I don't
Mast is
remember where
you've
we
been
were staying.
Broken
Okay.
mast.
Stesh is going to want to go to that really nice bathhouse that Rivellon and everyone else here, aside from Isaac, told her about first day. Hasn't actually got to have like herself pampered, and she just got paid, so why not?
Mm,
Assuming
okay.
it's open this late.
It is not. Unfortunately,
Shit.
it closes down at night. because it is. Then this town does not have a nightlife to it. It is very.
Really? Oh,
It's not a big night town. No.
I can imagine that being a
dwarves-
night shift guard in this town would be very boring.
Well, probably. It's a very The only place that usually stays kind of active is the
The tower?
the
I'm
Goldwater.
assuming?
No, the Goldwaters district.
Oh.
The we're near the dockyards and stuff. That's about it. But then again, that's also where most of the people that don't, most of the foreign population are in the town, like around there.
Yeah.
The dwarvish population they keep pretty hard schedules. You know, they have, you know, the nightlife is essentially the taverns, and that goes for maybe a couple hours after darkness, and then they go home. They shut
So
down
it's
for the
like
night, and they wake up
9
and go to
p.m.
work.
sleep, 6 a.m. wake up every day.
Kind of, yeah. They have a
Yeah,
schedule that they keep. They're very, very regimented about it.
that's fair.
So yeah, that's about all you really. So you don't find it open.
All right, it's
but
not
you know
there,
where
so
it is.
I'll come back to the broken mast, and I'm assuming we might have a few drinks because we succeeded.
Right, yeah, you get there, and Isaac and Arwan, Rivalon, and Ustenia, they're all there, because they all took about around the same amount of time to do all their stuff before they all started heading back and converging on this tavern that you're all staying in. So if you do want to get yourself some drinks, basically the most expensive thing you can get is a silver piece. It's not a great tavern.
I'll buy everyone a nice drink for, I'm assuming, 5 silver pieces, right?
Yeah.
I'll give him a
Abstain.
little.
Four silver pieces, because Isaac doesn't drink.
He
3
does
silver
drink.
pieces.
He just doesn't drink often.
No, he doesn't drink.
No, he does. He had a brandy once. With,
Arwen gets shorter.
Rivalon's-
Isaac doesn't drink.
Rivalon's not also having anything. Did you
No,
say?
I'm having the water.
Having a water?
Okay.
Okay.
All right, then we'll.
Are you feeling okay,
Time
Rivalon?
out. Hold up. Rivlon, are you
She's
okay?
like, she doesn't find that weird, but everyone else
Do
is
we
like,
need to talk?
Rivalon. Oh my god.
What? The actual.
Halo's
Oh.
graces. There's something wrong with you, man.
Hey, do not take my lord's name in vain.
I'm not
Also,
doing.
I'm
Jess
okay.
isn't saying that. It's me
Rivalon.
saying that.
How'd the going of the selling of our stuff go?
Don't know what you're talking about.
Weren't you gonna go sell the eyes and stuff that we got from that spider?
No.
Oh.
Where are they
Okay.
then?
I put them somewhere safe.
Would that happen to be inside of a shop?
I think you might want
No
to
idea
make
what
a
you're talking
deception
about.
check / insight check for the Yoast YouTube. Just to put it out there.
This is
Not even
Inside.
that, they know he's
You're not
lying.
drinking.
You know,
This is
lying
you're
to
not
someone who's a
drinking.
trained inquisitor. is-
I mean,
I'm not
Who
lying.
could-
I'm just reading. I'm
Train
avoiding the question
Inquisitor.
entirely.
18.
A trained inquisitor that keeps failing his religion checks.
that's true.
Haven't failed my
Are
insight
you-
checks, though.
He's more
Are
on the.
you are you trying to deceive them, Rivalon?
No, I'm just avoiding the question. I'm not trying to deceive anyone. I'm not going to try and deceive the Inquisitor of Paylor.
I mean, you can try. The dice might be in your favor.
Make a deception check, because that is still technically trying to deceive them by circumventing the question.
Here's where
May
you
the
roll like a
dice
natural
never
20.
be in your favor.
Yes.
Nope.
Oh,
7.
that's a big old nope.
18 versus a 7. Yeah,
One
no,
number.
he may not have actually stored it in a shop, but it's definitely no longer his.
I will.
Did I just notice the massive bag of money on his side? Is that all that happened?
Just a big old hulking sack of money.
There's like 1,000 gold coins. It's literally got 1,000 gold coins and a purse on his side, which is like, you know, a small
you know-
chest's worth. Have you ever seen
know-
1,000 coins? Which I'm guessing
he's strategically keeping them in leather sacks around his body, like distributing the weight. So like every time he moves, just hear clattering coins.
So if we threw him into an ocean, he'd sink very quickly.
Yeah, it's like a diver weight. It's like diver's weights.
I just imagined it had it like to his side, like the extra musette bags they gave paratroopers, where it was like just on the side of his leg, this massive sort of thing, or single bag, just. Oh, there's nothing to
pouch like a haversack for
a
soldier just going across the shoulders. But yeah, that's you get that he is being deceptive. He is not directly lying, but he is being deceptive.
I distract from this conversation because it'll be funny. What kind of rum do they have here? Because I like to imagine the Grey Wastes are known for two things: the wine and the rum. That's about it.
They don't sell any rum here. Actually,
in a sailor's tavern? No.
Yeah, it's something. It's something you've noticed. It's something you've noticed in the broken map.
Excuse me, barkeep. Why is the rum gone?
They seem to avoid seafood and things associated with the sea because people don't want to eat it after having eaten and drank it for months on end. So they sell a lot of. They eat like biscuits and cheese. They got pork, vegetable stew, boiled eggs, and just like roasted sausage stuff that you wouldn't get out on sea. And like they have some good mead and good ale, but like nothing that you like that's common on a ship. They have here. So you can tell it's a sailor's tavern because everybody here works on a ship of some sort. But they come here to get away from it.
That's fair. I'm going to then, since I can't buy Isaac and Rivellon a drink, and Rivellon is not here at the moment, I think. Just vanished, just poof, he's gone. I will.
Given the fact I can see the red bit of his chair in the bottom right-hand corner of his webcam screen, so I know he's there.
That's fair. I will buy everyone dinner instead. So whatever the cost of like the nicest dinner here is, add that to my bill.
I can see you rotating the chair. And I saw the armrest go into the screen for a split second. Let's go out. The most expensive thing they have here is a meal that is roasted sausage, millet biscuits, and a tankard of good cider.
That sounds pretty good, actually. To be fair, I'm hungry again now. He's just slowly sneaking in, the little sneaky boy, the son of a bitch. Look at him.
For those of you on the podcast, Rival is imitating basically whack-a-mole with the side of his webcam.
Or that meme where it's just a wall and a dude just slowly poking around the corner.
Yeah, either one. Now he's wheeling himself in shame back to the center of the thing. But anyway, that's the time for our break. So we'll continue this mess afterwards.
Yes. It is an absolute mess, is correct.
Hang on.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll be back in about 10 minutes once we're all refreshed, and yeah, see you guys then.
Just assume that like whoever doesn't want to drink gets a glass of water instead.
Yeah, but yeah, it's about 12 copper pieces for those.
So 12 and 3 silver, right? Total, because of the really nice drinks I bought. Myself, R1, and Justinian.
Technically, that's a silver piece and 2 coppers per meal.
Okay.
But it's 12 copper pieces, the way they charge it.
Yes.
Be the equivalent of charging, we're going to charge you 105 pennies. pineapple. It's super good. I love it.
Oh, I
actually
like
had
pineapple.
a,
I'm just not entirely sure about the pineapple flavored ice cream.
Try it. It's amazing.
I mean, fruity ice cream is usually a good thing, right? Like fruit flavored ice cream is usually good. But ironically, I had a rice pudding. Rice pudding with raspberry in it because I was hungry. So that's what I had earlier, which is quite nice. I'm also an old man because I'm eating rice pudding in the middle of the day.
Nothing wrong with that.
Wait, you said Joaquin?
Yeah. As in,
The goddess of trade?
yeah, because in this world, trade
Okay.
is also trade in knowledge, and so there's a there's a big priesthood that gathers and trades for knowledge and bring it into a library. I think you encountered it in the first campaign in this setting. There was a library of Joaquin that you came across that was for like trade and stuff. So.
Oh yeah.
So I mean that's a thing. There's a lot of god. Oh, by the way, I think actually the other god that you mentioned is also here. All three of them exist.
All three? Okay.
Yeah, all three exist in the pantheon. I forgot that one was there. Because right now this pantheon has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 in the major pantheon.
Wow.
And then there's a whole bunch of in the minor pantheon, and then there's the
demigods,
the demigod pantheon.
Yeah.
There's probably if you want to include the demigods and the very minors, there's probably hundreds of different gods people worship throughout the world.
All these heretics out here.
Very multi-religious, very very big, kind of pray who you need to pray to. If you got to go on a trading mission, maybe you pray to Joaquin. If you got to, if you want a good harvest, maybe you pray to one of the harvest-based or gods. Palor maybe. I think there's actually one here that is for like the god.
Palor has a demigod under him that is more specifically
maybe
harvest. But because she's the sun god, a lot of people.
So yeah, there's a lot of that, but it's pretty interesting. Though most of the ones in the pantheons are good or neutral or chaotic. There's not a lot of evil gods in the major pantheon, but there are a couple.
Tiamat, I think the polar opposite to
that'd be a minor pantheon god. Yeah. Because Bahamut and Tiamat are both minor pantheon.
Orcus in your main pantheon?
I'm sorry?
Is Orcus in your main pantheon? Because that would be an evil one.
No, but like Talos, Malmar, Bane, those are all in there. Those are the big three. Then you also have Zagul, who's in the minor pantheon, but she's neutral evil.
And we know
we hadn't learned that yet.
Yeah, you haven't.
No, we haven't learned that yet.
It was pretty apparent. She's not necessarily.
Yeah.
And we know Timora is in this world.
Yeah, Timora is.
Or, as Ben like to call it, Time Warner.
Yeah, but Timora's there. Well, you got Joaquin, you got Lathander, Agma, Sylvanus, Eldath, Silnoon, Moradin, Timora. Eldath, yeah, that's
because Balazar was an acolyte of Timora, and Ben just liked to call it Time Warner.
Mille, Soon, Ilmater, Palor. So all those are kind of in the major pantheon and the good / not evil spectrum.
My last character in this area believed in a demigod, so.
Oh.
So what was your last character? What did you believe in?
The Red Lady. She was like the one that's in. She's technically she's a true neutral. Like god, because she's the god of strategy.
That would be that'd be a demigod in this one. Because remember, it's the three rings. There's the inner ring of majors, the outer ring of minors, and then the demigods. And the demigods are specific aspects of life that they embody. So you got that.
Question.
So kind of just keeps going up and up and up into specific, or up and up to less specific things that the gods kind of how it goes.
Okay, so my question here, right? The dragon god of all alignments. I don't remember the specific name. Does he exist in your setting? Because there is a specific dragon god that is all alignments at once.
I'd have to get my detailed notes out to figure out if it is. It doesn't sound like I have that though.
Yeah,
because dragons aren't they exist in the world and everything, and they're not necessarily uncommon, but they're not big enough. Like the minor and major pantheon are less about specifically how powerful the gods are and more about how powerful their followers are.
Yes, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So
the more followers you have, the more powerful every deity you are, etc., etc.
Kind of, yeah. Essentially, they're able to embody more, and so
especially since they can't.
There's a reason Moradin, who is a god specifically for the dwarves, is a major pantheon god, even though he only embodies a single race. But that's because his race is a very powerful race in the world.
It's like how
there's also a reason why
Palor's quite a powerful god, because he has other planes that pray to him.
Yeah, and also there's a reason why there's not a lot of strictly elvish racial gods that exist anymore, because the elvish as a united people don't exist as much anymore under one nation. So it's kind of a
plus they have that weird Fey Pantheon thing, and been there, done that as a character.
But yeah, that's kind of how the gods work in this world. And probably some of you would know at least the basics of this through just the stories and stuff and how things work. But yeah.
So yeah, everyone has a nice meal, and anyone who wanted alcohol has an alcoholic beverage. So a very nice one, in fact. But since I can't get rum, is there any really nice wine in this place?
Can we quickly pause?
He's collapsing.
Right. To answer what was asked outside of the recording, no. Basically, the nicest thing they have is depends on your taste. They sell mead, ale, and cider, and specifically the ale they sell a normal ale and then a bitter ale, two different kinds. But their cider is kind of their best of what they can offer because it's the most expensive, and that's, like I said, that comes with the meal for the 12 copper pieces. So,
if Sesh is asking about wine, I'll offer some of my Sylvan wine.
Because you bought that, didn't you?
I got it at the Baz, yeah.
Yeah, because you paid for the bottle and you didn't drink all of it, yeah.
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 It's a very good wine. Very
sure,
good.
I'll take some of it. If there's a glass going, she'll have a glass of it.
All right, so you're basically drinking it out of an ale glass, because that's all they really give you in this. They don't have
fancy
wine flutes or anything. They don't have wine glasses or flutes.
She'll actually buy. She won't just drink alcohol that's brought in, because that's bad form, I imagine. She'll buy an actual drink and then have a glass of wine.
Oh.
She does have 16 constitution, so
that doesn't mean anything in this place.
To you, it doesn't.
And I'm assuming we're all sitting around the same table. Well, I don't know about the two murder hobos.
They've got roots. They're not hobos.
Well, one of them
Yours is
does.
fair, yeah. One of them has roots. The other one is just a pure murder hobo. I'll let you figure out which one's which.
I'm assuming
for
you're
those
all
on the
sitting at
podcast,
same
right?
table.
Yeah,
I'm assuming you're all
I would
sitting
like
at the
to
same
point out
table.
my family were more loyal than any other family. They were wolves, baby.
Sounds like you had a very struggling childhood with your own self-discovery. And
how do
I talk to girls?
Yeah, I was gonna say, how did you have the talk?
Yeah,
how did that go down?
He doesn't know how anything works at all.
Yeah, I would like to point out I'm 160. Okay, at least a couple of those years may have been spent in jail because you weren't supposed to just go and grab a woman and try and hump her leg.
Well,
all right then. But yes, you're all sitting at the same table.
Okay.
Apparently.
Not sure I want to be sitting at the same table as this man anymore, but there's that.
How many times have you stayed at this?
3 or 4, I think.
We've stayed
Yeah,
here
at least-
since we've gotten here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you first came in here
6
like
nights.
a week ago, right? Or a
6.
little bit more than a week ago?
Oh no, yeah, it's probably a little bit more than a week now. It's probably
Because
about
you had
8
to do
days.
you had to do the week gone for the Aquilon find and then back. But you spent a couple of days here and then a couple of days. Yeah, so you spent a couple, so yeah.
Probably almost 2 weeks.
Ooh. Okay.
What you're saying is they know who we are.
Yeah, you're regulars, and you're the ones that are you're the ones that always, whenever you come for at the end of the night, we're going, do you have any rooms available? You're always the ones asking for the rooms, since they only have 3 in the back. They don't.
And I've taken one of them. I have booked one of them, so.
Yeah. But yes, they do recognize you, and when about midway through the night, right before, usually when you head to bed, you're getting to the end of your meal, the innkeep that actually keeps that you see all the time here, the one when you're here, not the midday innkeep, who's a male halfling, Kata. You've heard him a couple of times. You've talked to him a few times. Nothing too deep. But he does mention that while you were gone, there was an individual that was asking around for a group that was pretty close to the description of you all. Specifically, they were asking around for a group that had a Uteshian rider, a tall Palor priest, a small bard, and
A murderous
an
elf?
archer. Just an archer. And he's
I'm not involved in
Be
this.
an elf?
Oh, okay, so you don't get racially profiled, but the rest of us.
I mean, I'm not involved in this, so.
But yeah, they came around asking about you. Didn't think to mention it until I saw you now.
What did they look like?
Well, it was this big wall of muscle, half orc, wore a top knot, had a bit of armor on, smelled like like he'd been at sea for a while. So a lot of salt and what do they use to seal the decks on a ship? But it's got a word.
Tar, isn't it?
Yeah, tar. Like it's a lot of salt and tar smell to him, and he worked hard in the hands. That's about it. He looked basically like everyone else who usually comes in here, except you lot.
I'm going to look to the rest of the party because I don't know who this man is, and he didn't mention me in the descriptor. So,
And about how long ago was this?
Well, last time was today, at about noon. You were all gone, so. And then before that, he came while you were gone. That last time, we're gone for like a week.
All right.
You just keep missing him. He keeps coming
Yeah.
every so often. You
Seems
did
like-
have somebody else the first time. What were they?
not what? Who? Who? What?
Well, he's not too drunk, so he does remember this. Catton
Get high.
likes to dip into things.
Don't get high in your own supply, folks.
First time he had a small woman with him. Wore a lot of dark leathers and cloth clothes. Had a mean dual scabbard on her hip.
What race was she?
I don't use. It's not. The race doesn't necessarily matter. Who they are.
It does when you're trying to get an exact character description.
Well, she may or may not have been. Well, she was probably half elf. I'd say yeah.
Okay.
I don't normally.
R1,
like
down.
Does she match
Oh,
the
what
description of
happened?
anyone we know?
Does she match
Does she
anyone?
look like Isaac Hugo?
Does she match the description of anyone we know?
Make an intelligence check. See if you recall anybody.
Because
Could
that
I
could
argue
be
that's
the-
wisdom, not
Oh.
intelligence?
I'll
Well,
give you
it'd be-
advantage. I'm thinking about it too.
It also
Well-
wouldn't, I also probably wouldn't know
Got a
anyway
15.
because
It would be intelligence because he's trying to recall based on information. He's not intuitively
Hmm.
trying. Wisdom would be something like he's trying to oh, that sound like a trait or something sounds similar to something else, and you're trying to recall
Yeah.
like that. Wisdom is you're trying to link something. He's trying to hard fact recall. His memory.
Wisdom is
I
using your
doesn't
street
remind.
smart.
Does this woman remind us of Liben at all?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to.
She was a
See,
druid, not
lied-
an elf.
He was a druid, yes,
A
but
druid.
she could have been a sister of some nature.
I know you probably don't know this. Rivulet.
Yeah.
A druid is not a race.
Yeah, I know.
It's
I'm just
class.
saying that we would have noticed if she was an elf or even a half elf. We had her in chains for crying out loud.
She was a half elf.
You did. She was a half elf.
I remember that. I hit a tree at high speed.
You
There you
didn't
go.
hit your head though. I would like to
The
point
fuck's
that out.
Liben? All I remember is white light and pain.
Fair.
But with the information that you were given, Liben was an average size half elf, and she. Hold on, let me double check my notes on her because you would have had these. I mean, you did have her in chains, so you had a good
I think
descriptor.
you mentioned.
She wore Liben.
Well, she might have changed since,
Yeah.
Sure, I'm comparing it to what you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also
Well,
think
she-
you mentioned she was a redhead.
Yes.
Yes.
She was
Oh,
redheaded. She was tall, and she wore mostly. She did wear earth tones, but it was very green earth tones when she wore stuff. The way he described this was she was small. She wore a lot of black and grays and dark browns. She had a mean-looking two-sword scabbard on her hip. She had like two blades on one side of her hip, and she looked to be in charge. Gave a lot of orders.
Does this remind me that they might maybe be mercenaries? It sounds like mercenaries to me, right? From all my
And whatever
time
your
as a
character-
guard.
Whatever you think it is, it might be. Your character, it tracks. It could be. The information you're given is that you have two individuals that asked about you and where you were as a group. Well, not you specifically, but the others in the group.
Yes. Yes.
They looked to be. One was armed, but they haven't been back since the first time, according to Catton. But the one that does keep coming by seems to be a pretty
He's
muscle.
a big dude. Yeah.
Yeah,
big
it
dude.
seems to be like maybe a muscle or something like that. But you also get the descriptor. He might have been on a ship for a while. So it could be a muscle for a ship or something.
They don't remind us of any of the crew of the ship we came in on, right?
No, because the
No, the
crosswing.
only,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
the
about the ship I
crosswing,
came in?
No.
Because I would have
you
come on a
came-
different ship.
Yeah, you came on a different ship. You came in on a ship that was from the Grey Wastes, and
Yeah.
they have a very different culture to them as a ship. So they're like a lot of sailors in the other kingdoms and the other countries are very very drab like that. But a lot of sailors from the Grey Wastes, they're affluent. Like they're higher up, where sailors here are more the lower class. The workers on there. So like Grey Wastes, you can tell them because they're wearing like fine clothes. It's very bright. They want to show off that they're a sailor, and they get that.
Because it's a
So
very prestigious
they
profession.
get
I
to
imagine.
leave. They get to leave.
Yeah.
They get to leave the desert.
They
and
get to
go out.
leave the desert and go to nice places and see
Yeah.
things.
So
essentially.
they're very up about it. But that didn't sound like this. That didn't sound
Okay,
like them.
that's cool.
So it doesn't necessarily match with what you you recall? No.
Okay.
As far as your checks, they don't match anybody that you know, but it's not a lot of information to go off of. Essentially, all you've got right now is that it looks like you have a half orc and a half elf. One's small, one's a wall of muscle, and they seem to know you at least somewhat, somehow. It doesn't seem the information's that specific because they did not get Rivellon's race right, and they didn't get Isaac's job correctly because he's an inquisitor, not a priest.
They also don't know I'm with them now.
And they don't know that you're with them.
There's old
So, yeah, I'm going to turn to the party and say, maybe
so it's either old
mercenaries?
information or maybe information that's been passed along,
Well,
or like story.
It's possible they're mercenaries, but it's not something we can deal with tonight.
What about a ship
Just thought
captain
I'd
and a
mention
first
it.
mate, maybe?
We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
If you'd like, I could point them in the direction, or tell them you're not here for a little money. He says that under his breath, but loud enough so you heard. Whatever you want, just let me know.
What do we want? Do we want to find them? Do we want them to find us?
Did
No,
they
we
give
want
any-
to find them.
Sorry, hang on. Where do we find
I'm not going to run away from these people. I want to know why they are after us, and they come and intimidate the people that we hire rooms from. I want to intimidate them.
Did they mention where we could find them if they came back? If we came back?
Stops where he was about ready to leave the table. No. They said they were just in town. Just came in from a long shipping voyage, so I assumed they're from a boat. Said they were just looking for y'all. They heard you. They heard about you. They wanted to. They didn't necessarily specifically say what they wanted you for, but they said they wanted to talk to you.
I'll nod and hand him a silver piece.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, it's not too out of the ordinary. You're the talk of some of the. Well, I mean, you're the talk of a small portion of the town.
That's funny. They're dwarves.
Good.
Says the
That's
halfling.
slicist.
Yes, says the halfling. Who's it's funny, is it?
He just looks at Isaac like,
What?
Funny,
Locks
huh?
eyes on Isaac and then walks away.
funny, huh? Tall person. Asshole.
I didn't say that in character.
Okay.
so-
all right.
Hey, I do character voices when I'm in character. Come on.
Okay. All right.
So we have. So what all do we have to do while we're in town?
We need to help
I
Mr.
need
Bosch.
to pick up my my armor when it's ready, but it take a couple of days, so not ready yet.
Right.
Yeah, you were told it would take, if I recall correctly, notes. It was posted to. It would take you at least probably after today 2 more days. Get everything worked out because you're basically just resizing some armor.
Yeah.
That they needed for you.
Yeah.
Of something they already make. So yeah, it'd be about 2 more days after today.
And don't
So-
they also need to have him go there for specific measurements at times, right?
No, they
Final
already did
fitting.
that.
They've
No.
done the measurements. It's the
They
final
did
fitting.
them.
Ah,
Yeah,
that's fair,
they'll need to get because the way armor works is like they get the measurements for the actual main plates, the inflexible bits, but then they need final measurements for the holes and like the strapping and stuff to make sure that it can size up right. Because
It fits comfortably because you're holding it.
if you do normal spaced, even normal spaced like holes on a strap, it's not going to fit right. You need to make them yourself so that they lock in right. So it's a thing.
It's
So
fair.
we need to pick up his armor.
We could go down to the docks tomorrow and try and
their
find them.
microphone.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Someone, as they're talking, is hammering their microphone. I'm hearing dong, dong.
Not me.
I can't hear it.
Then it must be you. 'Cause
Yeah.
we all heard that. 'cause I
You all
heard
hear
too.
it? Okay, hang on.
So we need to say at least 2 days to pick up Ustenia's armor. We need to figure out what's going on with the scholar.
Bosch.
Yeah, we want to try and
Friedrich
help him
Bosch.
because he apparently has more information on how we might be able to help Rivellon.
Right.
He did indicate that he knew something about Zagul, but he would only help you
If we helped him.
if you helped him. So.
And that's why we've been doing the missions for the temple, because we think they might be able to help us get him in to
the library.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then while we're in town, I want to look up some information on a few things. So I guess we all don't have to go talk to the Mother Superior.
I can do that. If you guys need to go do other things or maybe find this group of people.
I'm just trying to figure out if it's better to stay here at the tavern while we're waiting. Or go looking for them.
We could just go down to the docks and look for them, yeah. After you're finished with your conversation with the Mother Superior, we could just go down to the docks and deal with this.
I might be done with that before you guys are even awake, so...
You won't be before I'm awake. Remember, I have to pray too.
I was directing that more at the three other members of the party.
Who's 3 beers in at this point.
Hey. I'm just gently sipping on this glass of wine. I'm just gently sipping on this glass of wine that Arwen's given me. It's very good.
Don't let him give you too
horse
much of that.
piss alcohol.
Hey now, easy there, Midge.
By the way,
back alcohol.
By the way, Ustenia, because I've written down some things, but it wasn't in your specific character set, and I'm just going to ask this right now because I'm going to forget, and usually you have to go immediately after the game. Are your mother and father still alive, and do you know if your character has siblings or not?
Mother and father alive, yes. Siblings, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Lots.
That's all I needed. I'll make up the rest.
No, I just heard it again. That microphone thing.
That might have been me. I set down my pencil a little harder than I meant to.
I think it's been you the whole time. Every time I notice that you're tapping, I think you're tapping your pencil on the table occasionally. Your mic is picking it up, and it echoes.
Yeah, that is the one problem with the snowball. That's why I got this one. Is that since there's no shock mount, it all travels right up the arm, and it does.
That's my bad.
There's no shock thing, so yeah. Good luck with that, because it's $50 for a shock mount on that fucking microphone.
So anyway, sorry. Yes, siblings. Yes, parents. Yeah.
Okay. No more details needed. No more details needed. I'll make up the rest.
Justinian has like 75 siblings.
I just need the bare minimum. All right. So go ahead. Go on. So your plan is tomorrow Isaac gets up, talks to the Mother Superior. Hopefully. And
I can go with him if you'd like.
The two people go and talk to the Mother Superior.
Yeah.
And is there anything else you all wanted to do other than go to the docks and kind of look for these people? Or is there any shopping or things you want to go look around?
Yes.
Rivlon needs to go buy things.
I need to go buy something as well. See if I can acquire a better axe.
Okay, that is something else you can do.
I need to pick up my eye from the jeweler.
Right, because it would have been done by now. Because it was a very
because I didn't get time to do it today. So.
Yeah, it was a small job. So yeah, that would have been done. Okay, so that's your itinerary for tomorrow. R1, what did you want to do?
There's only one place that has a lot of like knowledge and stuff, and that's where the Bush wants to get in, right?
For the most part, yeah. There's not like a public library or anything in this town. Because it's not that kind of culture.
Right.
So by the way, if you hear like a grinding noise or like an engine behind me, there's a lawnmower going across my property. So, given the fact that we have like 20 acres, they'll do this and then it'll be gone after a certain point. But if it catches on the mic, there's nothing I can do.
I guess I'm just gonna go shopping, try and find either some better weapons or like a.
All right. Well, you all got some money, so you can do that. All right. So let's go ahead with
some more than others.
Some more than others. Let's go forward with that then. So we'll say, because we want to keep things moving a bit, you all head to bed in your various, one in a room and most of the rest of you not in a room, and just you find you all at this point have favorite tables or benches that you sleep in, which is somewhat interesting given the fact that the net wealth of you all is like somewhere in the few thousand gold pieces worth of gear and
or a
items
comfy dog to sleep on.
or a comfy dog to sleep on.
I mean, to be
But-
fair, you did mention, I believe, in the podcast that I listened to, that this place is really expensive to stay in. So, like, anywhere else is really expensive outside of here because, you know, it's a really, really popular town and there's lots of people coming and going every day. So,
Yeah, the other inns, you haven't actually really indicated how much they would cost. There are 2 other inns in the town that you both know of, but you've never really spent much time in them at this point. This is just the one that you've all chosen, which, you know, it's what you got.
I mean, I didn't choose it. I just kind of got stuck here because everyone else is
That's
here.
true. That is true.
So,
But yes, so you go to sleep, and in the morning, Isaac, you wake up the earliest. Rival, you have your meditation period, and nothing happens out of the ordinary there. I have to call that
Yay.
out.
I will go with
So-
Isaac to the Mother
I've had a
Superior.
good meditation period. Finally.
So both of you
Success.
head over to the temple, and it's just like every morning. You know, the normal faces. You're starting to get used to some of these people and recognizing them. You don't know them, but you recognize the faces. At least Isaac does. He's been here enough. And they recognize you too. So even the ones that were normally skeeved out about the 6 foot tall.
Yeah, and they can because in the temple I take my hood off, so they actually see my face properly as well.
Yeah,
And
so
he's
some of them as they see you come in, you know, they're just like they nod to you or smile and you know.
Henry's here. Hello, Henry.
Henry's come to see us.
Well,
I had a glitch one
that's
time.
an old
I did-
reference. That is now.
Yeah, I had a glitch one time in that game in a single player playthrough where that happened no matter what the NPCs were doing. So I actually went into a church and everyone just started while they were doing the prayer animation. It just they all started saying, "Oh, look, Henry's come to see.
Yeah,
Henry's come to see us."
I
in the
had that
church."
in one of the final cutscenes of that game.
Yeah.
After the main battle, I'm not going to spoil it too much, but there's a moment where there's about 50 guards or troops that line up outside
Henry's
in
come
front of
to
you
see
as you come out of your bedroom, and in rat whatever it was in rat out, and like you come out the thing and there's 50 guards in chorus all just go, "Henry's come to see us." It's like what? Half of them hadn't
And then
spawned in
Henry
either.
just dies.
Yeah. By the way, I hear that game's DLC is really good because they've released quite a few DLC bits for it, and everything I've heard about it so far is like really high quality quest
The,
lines.
the town building one, I've seen some people streaming town building one. That does seem pretty damn good.
Oh really?
I've heard the ones, the Hans Capon one is really good because it adds more storyline for Hans Capon, so he's not just sick in his bed for 90% of the game. And there's also the Band of Bastards or whatever it is, which is also apparently very good, mostly more combat based. But yeah, and we're getting the Woman's Lot DLC as well. Sorry, I really like that game. I'm glad it's doing well.
I hope for a sequel that
really
isn't
enjoyable
nearly
game.
as bad at the get go. Anyway.
Anyways.
Anyways, so you head into the you head into these people know we go off on tangents. It's fine.
Yes.
Yeah. So you go into the church, do your prayers, and after about 20 minutes of prayers, what are you doing specifically, Sesh? Like, are you just off to the side? Or are you also taking part in the prayers? Are you doing your own prayers off to the side?
I will be off to the side and I will partake in my own specific prayers because I don't want to get in the way of everyone praying to Paylor, but I will pray to my own god. Maybe I'll throw in the odd thank you to Paylor as well during my prayers because he's a cool dude. He's an alright dude. He seems
cool
okay.
dude, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Cool Jesus.
Gun Jesus. Where's Ian McCollum when you need him?
But so after about 20 minutes of the prayers and everybody starts letting out of there, you do see Mother Superior Agatha, who is or Sister Superior Agatha, who is standing off to the side and talking with a few other sisters before they shuffle off, and she looks over to Isaac, waiting.
I'm gonna go over to her.
I will go with him.
All right. I was told you needed to speak with me, Isaac.
Yes, we believe the farm issue to have been dealt with. There was a beast contaminating the water supply, which we dealt with, and after a while, naturally, the water supply should fix itself. We also found the source of what was creating this mysterious noises. We came across an unmarked grave there, and inside was an amulet that was faulty, and it was casting illusions which were playing with people's minds.
Well, as long as it has been dealt with, I'm glad. I seem to recall you speaking of a favor the temple could give towards you for the help you have provided us in these last few weeks.
Yes, indeed. And if that is still on the cards, I would be most grateful, as it would go towards helping my friend.
What is the favor?
Well, I believe, if you recall, it was if the temple could use its status to help us get Mr. Bosch, whom you've met, into the Gorgon archives for his research.
We could put a word in with the council, Gorgon. Should be enough if we push for it, for him to be allowed access. Can't guarantee that it'll be unlimited access, or at least prolonged access, but he should receive something. We can promise this. We'll bring it up with the council during a meeting today that we have with them.
Thank you, Sister Superior.
We'll have word to Mr. Bosch, if he's still staying in that same tavern that he's been staying in.
We believe so.
Then he will be given word when it is final. Expect it in a few days, or we'll make it expedient. Expect it within the day.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And if you could... No matter. I will sort that. Is there anything else the temple requires of me?
No, you've been more than helpful in your endeavors. We are very grateful that you have been able to help us. And we are also very grateful that you have returned such a important artifact to our vaults. That will not be forgotten.
May Palor's light guide your day, sister.
You too, Inquisitor. She turns and walks away.
Glides away.
The sound of the saucers and Xenonauts just...
But yes, you exit the temple on the promise that Mr. Bosch will receive his access to the archives, at least by the end of the day, maybe sooner. For all of your good deeds.
We should go wake up everybody else, shouldn't we?
Possibly. I might go talk to Mr. Bosch. I don't want him to skip out on us by going to the archives straight away.
All right. Well, you know that he was last spotted by you, staying in... It's been a while since you've actually gone there. The name...
It's going to be at that same table.
By the way, we've officially passed 80 pages of notes for this campaign.
I honestly don't think I've ever actually heard you say the name of this tavern out loud to me during a session. So I wouldn't know.
Probably not. see here. That one. The
This
white
is
mug.
The light mug.
The white mug.
The white
in
mug.
the Narrows.
That's right. I knew
In
it
the
was
Narrows
there.
district, which is the rich part of town. Which you don't spend a lot of time in, actually.
Well, the bathhouse is
well,
there.
you do. You spend. Well, no, you spend nearby because the temple is nearby the Narrows. It's on the
Yeah.
edge of the Narrows.
So I'm gonna head straight there. I will tell Sesh to go wake everybody up, and tell them to meet me at the tavern.
White mug.
The white mug.
Because I wrote it down because I'm not a pleb.
Yes, the white mug. So you head that way. I'm gonna say by the time you get there, Sesh, everybody's awake because Kata, before he goes off to go to bed himself, and let his daytime counterpart take over, he makes sure to get everyone off of the furniture and awake before he goes. So he usually goes around that in the morning, kicking like
Poking everyone with
the wood.
sticks.
Well, no, he's usually pretty loud and kicking the wood on the kicking the wooden legs of the chairs and the tables and stuff. Like, get up, you lazy sons of bitches! And just like like lots of banging and shit. And
Even though we're probably his most well-paying customers, he's like, "Fuck you guys."
well, it's less harsh with you.
Yeah.
With you lot. He doesn't do it to you specifically, but then again, you've never been awake when he in here when he does it. But everyone else, you usually by the time he gets to your section of the temple, you're all awake anyways, from the loud noises. So
Plus, I slept in a room
when he
the whole
passes
time,
by you
so.
three, Ustenia, Rivellon, and Arwan, when you are awake, when he passes by you, he usually just gives you, "And a good day to you," and just goes off to the next people.
Yeah.
Plus, I've been
Because-
staying in the room.
Mass
the whole time, so-
murderers.
Yeah,
Yes.
and he usually just goes on to the to like the drunk sailors and stuff that are on the rest of the tavern. But so
I've
you're
also
awake.
been staying in a room, so
Yeah, so it doesn't but by the time Sesh gets there, you're all awake, and whether or not you want a breakfast or not, if you want a breakfast, it's a copper piece for a basic breakfast. But Sesh does arrive after, and you've basically had enough time to eat, wake up, and get ready. And Sesh arrives at the
get your coffee and shit.
Yeah. So Sesh comes in, and you see everybody awake, either at a chair or on like at a table or at the bar, eating and finishing up their morning routine.
I will put an arm around Justinia and say, "Got good news, everybody."
What news?
Apparently, you guys have got some Bosch fellow. What he wanted. He never told me about him. So
Bosch fellow.
The scholar.
Oh yeah,
The scholar
yeah.
was going to help me find out whether am I being possessed by a demon.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. You got angry spirits in your head.
Apparently, I feel fine. I just like doing things.
I don't know. Seeing you explode into a tree, that tells me that you might feel fine, but the rest of us, we're in danger.
yeah,
And it just cuts off just at the right point there.
we're all in danger.
There's
We're all in
a
danger.
there's a tabaxi sailor who's like having like hair of the dog kind of drink right now, and he like when he hears this, he looks over, looks down to the drink and puts it down.
And I go, "Hey, what's wrong with you? Yes, I might be possessed. Finish your drink."
Puts a couple of coins on and just leaves.
They're all still alive. And the halfling. Give them the
Okay,
benefit of the doubt. Anything with a
Rivellon.
skirt?
Rivellon, shut up.
Thank you, Justinia. I like how she's trying to be diplomatic, and you're just like, "Fucking stop." Anyway, Isaac has already gone to find Mr. Bush at the White Mug in the Narrows. Mr. Bush. It's the
Firstly,
accent.
it's Bosch, and secondly,
Yeah, Bush.
don't we have people searching for us?
Yes, but apparently this is more
Maybe-
important. I don't know. Isaac just told me to
well,
wake you
maybe
guys up and
not
tell
go
you that.
on his own.
I mean-
no, but wait, but I think I see what Isaac's doing here. If he went on his own, he might not want to help you. Well, us help you. So Isaac going, I'm assuming he wants us to meet him.
Yes.
Well, then why don't we send Rivalon so he can get what he needs out of it? I think the two of them can handle it. And the three of us go find this group of people looking for us.
That seems like a generally smart idea.
I've been known to be called smart.
Then something with a pulse stroke walks by and he goes, "Oh,
There's a sailor with a skirt that's a little too short.
there goes my next ex-wife."
He has like 17 like ring what's the word we're looking for here?
I thought you meant just ring boxes.
When you're wearing a ring for too long and then it leaves like a white
like the tan line.
Yeah, you have you have like 17 different tan lines on each finger from all the rings you've taken off.
I have one ring. One ring.
Them all.
That we can see.
To rule them all, yes.
Yes. Anyway, yes, Isaac wants us to meet him there, but I'm assuming, yes, that makes some sense. Do you think you can handle a scholar by yourself, Rivalon?
Well, Isaac will be there. We don't have to worry about
This is
Rivalon.
true. Yeah, this is true.
Well,
and we have our own ball of muscle right here, and I pat Justinia on the shoulder.
There's an awful lot of touching going on between sessions, Justinia.
You feel uncomfortable.
You feel a little left out.
That's a joke. I don't know if you do feel
realizing
comfortable.
he no longer has a chance.
You feeling jealous, elf boy?
I am.
You say that out loud. You actually say
that. Sometimes the tent gets cold. So you don't question.
You know what? I entirely believe that would be something Justinia would think. Entirely.
Anyways, let's get on.
It's pretty. It's free. It's it's a free society, man.
Peace and love and interracial love and all that stuff.
God,
Reborn, can you find the
we
white
can
mug?
go on fantastic dates where we go slay our enemy.
No,
yeah,
you
maybe
slay,
Justinia is more interested in Rivalon.
Sesh heals them.
I think Justinia might be more interested in Rivalon, to be fair. All the murder they get involved in together.
No.
We did have one drunken night. That was fun. Sorry, one drunken day.
It wasn't a night. It was like 12 in the afternoon till night.
Not sure how much Justinia actually remembers that night.
No.
Let me see.
Intelligence check with disadvantage.
Rivalon. Rivalon, can you find the white mug?
Could be kind of like.
Can I find you a white mug? I'll do my best.
No. Can you find the white mug? The tavern.
You should have been there, right?
Oh, the tavern.
I don't remember shit.
It's flashes, Justinia. It's like you rolled a 6 on that intelligence. It's like you know it was a night.
You dropped a 19.
You think you had a really great idea, but you don't remember shit when you woke up the next day, and like from the stupor, and it's just like.
All he remembers is 3 very large jugs of water and an awful lot of food being forced down his throat.
Yeah. You also remember that the kebab was really good.
For some reason.
It's like it's like the golden moment of clarity in your memory that night was
that one kebab you had from that one event was really good.
Yeah. But
guess I can find the white mug.
Yeah, you remember it, Rivalon. You spent like weeks in the forest and everything. This concrete jungle doesn't faze you. You know where everything is. It's actually very set off.
My trusty plasma cannon on my shoulder.
Yeah. Phased plasma rifle in the 40 megawatt range.
I was thinking something that went about there and allowed me to go invisible and.
Both had ideas. So 3 of you are going to the docks, going to the Goldwaters district, and Rivalon is just heading up to the White Mug to meet Bosch.
That seems like the idea, yes.
Okay then.
Make sure you buy some drills off of him while you're at it.
Some what?
Some drills.
Drill.
Bosch drill.
Oh,
it's a brand name. Yep.
Sorry, we're getting very meta right now.
Yes, we are.
Oh yeah, I also need to remember to pick up stuff, but that can wait until after we go looking for things.
Yeah, we need to do shopping.
You all have to pick
after.
up your shopping stuff. But in the morning, you threw your itinerary out and you decided to switch everything up. So, first thing, Isaac, you get to the White Mug, and it is open. Sorry, the morning has occurred. Hold on a second. Okay. Yeah, the morning has occurred, and the door is not locked, and although it's very quiet, and you see like you see a barkeep, not the one that you saw originally
Not
when
the
last time you
lady.
came here. Yeah, not the lady. A guy, looks to be human, middle-aged. He's like setting up glasses and like the back, like getting everything set up for the morning. And after that, you see two barmaids that are sweeping and getting the chairs rearranged and stuff, just kind of like getting everything ready for the day. You do smell food is being cooked. You don't see anybody in the tavern other than them, those three. But when you come in, the barkeep. Sorry, if you're looking for breakfast, it's gonna be at least another half hour before we got everything ready.
No, I am actually here to talk to someone. I think he's one of your residents. A short, older fella by the name of Bosch.
Oh, no, he's not in residence here. No, you go down the road about 4 buildings, and you look into there's a small alleyway. You'll see a wagon.
Oh, thank you. Some of my friends might be turning up to look for him. Could you point them also in that direction?
Sure.
Thank you. And then I'm gonna leave him a silver.
All right. Drops that into a little pot behind the bar. You exit and head down the directions he says, and what you find when you head down the road a little ways, and a couple buildings down, there's a larger than average alleyway, and what you see parked in the middle of that alleyway is a wagon. It is enclosed, tall, wide. It has a couple of windows on the side of it, a big door in the back, a couple of steps, and it looks to just be sitting there.
I'm gonna go up to the door at the back and knock on it.
So just go up to it and
Yep.
And
is it like gypsy wagon style, like old kind of thing?
kind of. It's a little bigger than that.
Okay.
Than those, but yeah, it looks like it's got some space to it. You could see
It's
a
like
bed in there.
oh, the guy who did the first ever caravanning holiday called it a land yacht.
Yeah, you
If there's
could
photos
say
of
something
that.
like that. You could definitely live out of this
Yeah.
if you needed to. There's like a little rocking. And he's,
Joshua Tree.
Through the very thin wood. Kind of rocking, a couple of steps. You hear like jostling of a chain, and then a mechanical noise, then another chain, then a clicking noise, then another chain, then another mechanical noise.
Oh, for crying out loud.
And the door swings open, and what you can see is just a whole bunch of like locking mechanisms, like going at least like 6 inches on the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, multiple chains and stuff. And there's Bosch, who looks the same, but a little bit more haggard. Like he just woke up. He's wearing sleeping clothes, so like kind of soft, like long shirt, some like long pants. He's got like a cap on. He hasn't trimmed his beard in a while, or maybe not. It might have washed it, but it doesn't look like he washed it today. Definitely. But he's like through his eyes, and he's looking out, trying to, because the sun is kind of behind you from the position. Well, can I help you?
Mr. Bosch, I'm not sure if you completely remember me, but my name is Isaac, and you promised to help with information on a certain god that might be plaguing one of my friends if we helped get you into the library.
Right. Yes.
Is everything all right, Mr. Bosch?
What? What? What time is it?
It's freckle past a hat. Now, what time is it? Do I have
It's
a
about
brush?
between time when sun rises in sky to when sky is high. The sun is highest in sky.
It's the morning, Mr. Bosch.
It's like an hour after sunrise right now, or less than an hour after sunrise from where you are. You spent 20 minutes walking from the end of morning prayer to there, so it's it's
What, 8 a.m.?
no, actually I can tell you exactly. It's about 6:20 a.m. That's when the sun rises, or a little bit before 6 this time of year. Oh. Oh. Well, the gods. I'm usually not awake at this point. Give me a few minutes, please.
Of course.
And, right. And you hear the mechanical noises again as he's locking all of his doors. And then you hear shuffling and things being shifted around. It goes on for a couple of minutes. And then shuffles back towards the entrance. And then you hear all the mechanical noises and chains being worked on as he's unlocking all of them again. He opens the door and you see a much more, partially more awake individual, the Bosch. He's, you wouldn't call him necessarily very old, because he's not, he's not full white, but it's like a salt and pepper kind of beard and hair. Mr. Isaac? Yes?
Yes.
Good. Yes, I said I would help you. Have you done what I asked?
You should hear within the rest of the at some point today. The temple said they would expedite the process and hopefully get the council on our side. The reason I come to you with such urgency is that I currently fear the affliction my friend suffers from, or the hold that the god, or whatever it is Zagul has over him, is getting worse. And you so far are the only person that seems to have any idea of how to help.
Well, I did study for many years on the history of the gods and the pantheons. I should know some things.
Have you...
Uh,
Do you mind if we step inside? I'd rather not say this out in the open.
Looks you over a little bit. You can give it a try. Steps back.
Only
and,
6'6".
Only
Only-
6'6".
You're
walk in.
7'2".
Yeah.
I'm 6'1".
You win.
You walk into the carriage, and like your head is like right at the top, like it is kind of grazing that. It is cramped. There is a like a twin-sized bed on one end of this, like one side. There is a bench that's got like a couple of books on it. It's like tilted. There's a little window with some blinds on there, like a covered like bit of the roof that lets light in that's now somewhat half open. You got a whole bunch of like food that's hanging off one side and water skin. Like this seems like it's basically like a medieval RV, or I guess you'd call it a caravan.
Yeah.
Yeah. That this person has been living out of.
I like the term land yacht.
Yeah, that works too. But yeah, there's not a lot of room, but there's the bed, and then he has a little stool off to the side that he kind of takes out and sits in. Kind of gestures towards the other end of the bed. That's on one side because it's the only other place to sit in the actual area you have.
I sit or perch or as much as
you can do, yeah.
And I well, how much? Okay. In your studies of Zagul and any of the other pantheon gods, have you ever come across possession? With
Sometimes possession is a very
loose
imprecise.
term.
It's an imprecise term that gets applied to many things we don't understand. So it's hard to define. I would say there have been cases that I would call possession that I have studied. Yes, but nothing to the degree that the stories talk about, like the spinning heads and the demonic voices. That was works of fiction. So it's more.
What if I said we witnessed the fact that whilst in a dreamlike state he got thrown across a field?
Yeah, that do it.
Like, yes, this is correct.
So
The gods are powerful. It's their hold on the material plane is tenuous, but powerful when it is find purchase.
well, of course,
But most of the time they can't do that. So we are lucky. If they had that power still, we would be like ants to them if we are not already.
Well, you might.
Oh, that's
Okay.
the ego, the Isaac ego kicking in.
That's
Ego, though, it's even bigger than his usual big ass self.
That's my extra ness kicking in. Sorry.
Hold your extraperennial privilege, please.
Do you have a reason to believe that your friend is possessed?
No, he doesn't.
More.
There's a draft here.
There's a fight in like the house over. Some like couple are fighting over something.
I would say something is attempting it. I wouldn't say he's there yet. He hasn't, despite that one outburst where he got thrown across a field, he hasn't lost control.
Does he not normally do that?
No.
Throwing across the field
He's
into a tree.
also sleeping, and Zagul keeps contacting him through dreams. Naturally, he's an elf and doesn't often sleep, so it's unusual.
Elves, they like to say they don't sleep, but it's a learned skill to meditate. They sleep in their early lives. It's just they choose not to afterwards because they don't require it. They can meditate themselves through their nightly rituals. So sleeping is not the symptom. It is a mechanism that is being pushed upon him. Would be my opinion. I am not. Well, I guess I am the closest thing you have to an expert inside of this town. But if I could see the individual,
He's on his way.
then I could. That is good. And I also did pour through some of my traveling tomes, and I found a few things that may be of use for us when he does arrive, and maybe you will learn something.
I hope to.
Right. How long are they going to be?
That's when Rivellon knocks on the wall.
You guys talking about me in there?
Oh.
Oh,
Rivellon, you did the same thing I did. You went in, you asked, painted back there, and you get around this time. Then is that them?
Rivellon?
No.
That's them.
Good. You would open the door. I can't get past you.
I literally turn, open the door slightly. It buffs up against my arm. I can't open it
Well,
anymore.
it opens outward. It opens outward.
Okay.
So you just kind of. You feel like a rush of. It's like it's a very still air. Well.
Hey, speaking of still air, I did the work I did last week. Turns out the entire time was in a tent in a studio. 12-hour days inside a tent under studio lights. It got very stale very quick.
I would expect so. Well, if you could, we could probably work the Scoot, Isaac's Scoot.
I'll stand up and let Rivellon sit close to the professor.
It's pretty tight in here. There's not a lot of room.
I'll even stand at the door if that's helpful.
Doesn't help. It's not a lot of room.
I could probably stick my head through a window if just stand outside.
There's enough room though. You can get everybody in. It's just very tight. Are you the individual in question?
He would be,
What
yes.
question?
Right.
I was just updating Mr. Bosch on your status.
What have you told him?
Right. So if you're the possessed one, hold on. Let's just see.
Yes. Okay. We don't know.
Okay.
He thinks I'm possessed. The rest of the team thinks I'm possessed. I personally don't think I'm possessed.
I've never given you an opinion on mine.
Okay.
Of
Okay.
course,
The person
of
we
course, that
summarized.
would exactly be what I'd expect to have. And he throws it's like a liquid onto you, like onto your like it hits like your lower jaw and your neck, and he gives it a couple of seconds. He's good.
Was that holy water?
Holy oil.
Okay, well, I drank holy water and nothing happened.
Oh, what did you
Stale, by the
find?
way.
Why are you asking me this? Especially Zagul, he would be burning himself from the inside out at this point.
Okay,
Well-
can I kill him?
No. He can teach us more about Zagul, so we know better on.
Ah, yes, that. And you see him kind of go behind the. There's like a little separated portion of the little space he has, and he kind of opens up a little cabinet. And he takes out this tome, that's like got to be like the width of your middle finger, like in terms of thickness, of the spine, and kind of plops that onto the reading section, and licks his finger and then starts flipping pages. Now I found this. I did not write this, but it is a part of my research that I used in my formative years. But I recalled when I told you the name and the symbol matched up to it. I recalled the story. It is the book, by the way, is the life and trials of the gods and deities during the Age of Fire or during the Dawn Age and the Age of Fire. It is a very interesting subject.
I mean, yes, Isaac would agree.
Yes. He flips past it and goes, "Here we have Paylor."
Rivalon's falling asleep on the stool.
It's Paylor, and we have a good 20 pages of Paylor. And through that,
Hello,
and-
person in Mikey's end.
And here we go. Yes, Ziggle. And he's at the end of the book because it seems to be in the alphabetical order. So
We could have flipped to the back and opened.
yes, but he's a teacher of all things, so he wanted to show you this. Right, Zigul. What do you know of them?
They really annoy me.
They seem to be linked to vengeance. We know of the symbol, and we found that some creatures might be building or uncovering a ziggurat to him.
Her.
Oh.
Her. She is a goddess. And he's open to a page, and what you see is it's a very heavily worded page, like no space on the like no separation between the lines, font, small writing, but in the top right hand corner of the page there is a block that is the illustrated symbol that you see. when you were in your visions. So
Yeah.
smiling essentially, which what essentially normally looks like a crescent on its back, and a smattering of red color is actually a smile with a broken eye.
And that one time he threw up blood.
And that one time he threw up, yes. So you've seen this before. Zagul is a minor. Well, it depends on how you define the gods. If you use the neoclassical definition, or if you use the modern definition of how you define the pantheons, it could be a minor deity, or it could be a demigod. But either way, definitions. Zigul is a goddess who is a godlike being that came about during the Age of Fire. About at this point, our best possible guess is somewhere around 5,000 years ago, give or take a century. But what we do know comes from a couple of writings about her, and originally she was a wife to a chieftain of a band of mortals who was at war with another coalition of other chieftains and other tribes, as the Age of Fire was a time of war, as we all know. Zagul, as her real name is lost. We're not sure if that was her real name or if that is the one she took upon when she gained her powers. But what occurred was that her husband and her children were caught in an ambush by the other collection of tribes when they had come together to meet for a peace accord, and were slaughtered. In the ensuing chaos, her tribe was ravaged, as was she, and attacked. It is said that she was beaten and hurt for many days, and other things that I won't go into. But when she came out, they let her live to pass along the story of what happens when their tribes were crossed. Somewhat harsh, but then she began to notice that her wounds did not heal. They stayed as they were. They did not get better or worse. They stayed as they were, frozen in the moment of time. And then she also realized that when she focused on things, they happened. She was able to influence the physical world, and more so than the mages of the time, which was much more than modern mages, I might add. It is my theory, obviously, that the deities, the demigods of the time of the Age of Fire, were created by a concentration of a very intense emotion, and that allowed them to embody that emotion with a mix of the wild magic of the time, create a demigod in what was a mortal being. But Zagul dedicated herself to the destruction of the individuals that killed her family, her tribe, and destroyed her person. And it gets a little bit hazy for a couple decades in this story, but what we do know is that sooner or later she killed the majority of the individuals that caused her suffering, until she was able to locate and capture the last living chieftain of the tribe that had originally betrayed her, as she had killed everyone else in the tribes, and he was the last one alive. It is said that when she captured him, she had her followers, of which she had built up quite a number, give him a potion that caused him not to be able to move but dulled no pain, and strung him up on a rack in a tent of white. When she entered, she unveiled a mirror that was placed above the rack, and the story does not go into too much detail, but it is said that he lived, if you call it living, for at least a week in the ensuing
Torture.
time that torture, yes, that would be a good word. Probably mutilation would be better, definitionally, but either way. But it is said that after that she ceased aging. She became the embodiment of vengeance. The last thing that she had her enemy see was her broken face, a smile of blood and a broken eye. With the bruises still there from the day that they last threw her out into the wild. After that, she became a devotee of the coalition, which was the coalition of the gods who fought against the pact of the other gods during the penultimate of the Age of Fire, and like the others, she was forced to retreat into her own plane after they lost. Since then,
is that a demi-plane of her own, or is this one of the larger planes?
One of the larger planes, but most gods have a demi-plane of some sort that they embody directly, but it is located within a larger plane. Theoretically,
so it's not divulged
it's
what
not
that plane might be.
No, not so. But since then, there have been various different things that have been found about her throughout the ages. They sprout up cults around Zigul every so often, where areas of vengeance are great and concentrated. They seem to edge further and further towards her, and she promises great gifts in return for the devotion of her followers, and the greatest among them achieve their goals, whether that be to kill those who have wronged them or claim the kingdoms of their families, former titles, various other things. But they all have the same thing in common. She always claims her debt, and that debt is the right eye of her follower. So every time that her follower achieves their goal, their eye is taken and they are found dead, usually. Afterwards, there was, I believe, a Teutonian king a couple hundred years ago that had this happen to them, though it wasn't known if he was directly a follower of Zagul. He never showed it. It's most likely. It happens every so often, and it seems to not be culturally based. It crosses borders. There have been cults to Zagul found in Zerol, even, at least up to 75 years ago.
We heard of one in the Grey Wastes from one of our traveling companions.
It wouldn't be out of the ordinary. They never get large. Either the endeavor fails, or it succeeds enough that the vengeance, the feeling of revenge is not strong enough to maintain her connection into the mortal plane. It is the problem with all demigods. They are embodiments of a specific emotion or a specific state of mind, and once that state of mind is gone, they no longer have the connection, which means it is a fleeting connection with the mortal realm, unlike the other minor and major deities in which they embody a multitude of things which allow them to maintain a connection to their followers. I'm sorry, I tend to ramble. This is an interesting subject.
No, I'm most interested. Is Rival awake?
Rival has fallen asleep.
Yeah,
Rival awake? Is your friend awake?
Yeah, what? No, I'm good. Don't worry about me. I'm fine.
Right.
So, Rival, I don't know if you ever... I don't know how much of that conversation you took in, but has she...
Alright, she's a demiguild, she's embodiment of vengeance, and that's why she wants me.
Has she offered you anything?
Yeah.
Interesting.
She offered me the head of the person who killed my family.
Hey,
I said
that
no.
tracks. It doesn't, actually.
What do you mean it doesn't track?
Oh, very strong will for your friend. Usually people chase their vengeance until they achieve it, but...
But she offered him the vengeance straight up, so you think there's a bigger purpose at play, maybe?
Oh, no, I'm just saying he's got a very strong will.
Oh.
Usually that is what she offers, and then she, from what I know of stories, she gives you the means to the end.
Was
Usually she doesn't leave an individual alone until they give themselves to her, unless she found another target in the general area of your friend.
Oh dear lord.
Oh no, the druid.
Lieben.
Druid?
So at the time of when Rivellon here flew across the field, was
Into a tree.
this was when you rejected her, no?
Yeah, I told her I didn't want revenge anymore. I wanted a reckoning.
We had a prisoner with us who then escaped.
They might have given themselves over to Zagul as a means to an end, or at least a means to becoming free and getting vengeance. But that shouldn't be a problem unless you spurred or caused great pain to them that they would want vengeance to you. You should be fine.
Our barbarian broke her staff.
Well, that's a what?
We
You
fooled
killed
her.
all her friends.
We fooled her plan. She was robbing a skyship. We killed everyone else that was with her, and we were going to take her back for punishment.
Yeah, they do it.
Yes.
Yeah, I did. Okay, so let's just kind of go over, get a kind of a brief overview of this. 1, I'm fine. 2, Zagul's probably gone after the druid to give her vengeance, which is
Against us.
C, kill us.
And there's people currently looking for us.
Right now.
But they didn't give the description of the Dragonborn, so they can't be linked to Liben because Liben knew about the Dragonborn.
Yeah, but Liben doesn't know that the Dragonborn's traveling with us anymore.
That's very true.
For all Liben knows, got back to Gorgon and Sesh went on her way. She was going to Gorgon. Where after that, we don't know, but the skyship was going to Gorgon. I think we should talk to Sesh.
So I don't think you need me anymore. I'm just going to.
No, but thank you very much, Mr. Bosch. If you come across anything in the archives that might help us, do let us know.
Oh, I highly doubt it. It's pretty. I'm doing a paper on the beginnings of Gorgon. I need the early works. It's a lot of taxes.
And
land deeds, etc.
fair enough.
Can I have my cart back, please?
Your cart? Oh, we're inside your house. Oh, of course. My apologies.
Thank you for helping me. I will.
If you need anything from us, it seems we have one of the first cases in a while where we've spurned the attraction of a god. It could be interesting.
That's why I want you away from me.
And
Please get them.
may Palor's light guide your day. And Revelon, we should go
yeah.
find the rest of them. Where did they say they were going? The docks? Okay.
Going to the docks to try and track down our new friends.
You step out and you hear
all the locks.
There's more locks than there was before. Somehow we don't know where he got them, but
You just hear like a hand drill, like putting in a new hole.
And you are now back on the streets. When does the end of this? So we still got 30 minutes?
Yes.
30 minutes.
Okay, good. I wanted to double check. All right. So, yes, you got your info, whether or not you decide to write that down.
I didn't because I wasn't there. It's not my job.
Midge did, but I'm fine because I just know one thing. I'm not possessed!
You're not possessed, but we're being hunted by
By
someone
the way,
who
you
might
still
be.
have that holy oil on the bottom of your chin, and it's just like...
Yes, and he's lucky I didn't kill him.
I mean,
stuff is hell to
okay.
get out of my beard.
I take a handkerchief and wipe his chin like a
I don't
kid
think elves
wipes.
can have beards.
Where it's now an oil beard.
It's not like my beard, but it's like a trimmed kind of thing. Is that they can have facial hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Midge is, for everyone
Chin
who's
strap.
curious on the podcast, Midge is pointing at his own beard.
Yeah, my chin strap.
It's alright.
Your shit strap, as we call it.
Ooh, burn.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Them's a fighting
So-
words. Right.
Yeah,
we
sure,
start
let's go,
running towards the
Yeah, we have to double time it down to the docks.
Yeah, we're gonna start running down to
whatever
the
it's-
docks.
Gold.
All
sector
right.
thing.
Well, yeah, but you spent about half an hour in Bosch's
Yeah, we did.
area, so
You'll find us down there, and we're all just dead.
Oh, and we
So-
stop off at a weapons store so I can pick up some more arrows. I'm not going to get my new bow yet, but I'm going to get some arrows.
You can buy like a bundle.
hold
of
on,
arrows
hold
for,
on.
like-
I need some ammunition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and this
Uh,
looks
Plus, I've
nice.
run out of stuff.
Yeah, but the rest of you three, you split off with Rivlon, and you were down at the dockyards. You're at the Gold
God.
Waters District.
How
Yes.
much do arrows cost?
It should be inside of the
Players. handbook.
the item.
Yeah, the compendium
section.
thing in the in
Yeah.
Fantasy Ground. I think it's like a silver for a bundle. I think it's usually what it is. It's usually pretty cheap.
So, it's under about 20 hours in a bundle, isn't there?
Yeah.
About that, yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Well,
It's
Thank
a
you, God.
gold.
Actually, it's 1 gold piece for 20 arrows.
oh,
Fine,
not
I'm buying
for that,
40.
aren't we?
So, you three are down in the docks area. So you are at the Gold Waters District, and it is bustling and active. You see a couple of ships are, actually a good number of ships are at the dock right now, all lashed up, and some are loading items, some are unloading items. Just generally active dockyard. So what are you wanting to do?
Do we spot anybody who looks like the aforementioned massive orc with the top knot? Because that's pretty unique,
That
or
or
stands out a bit.
or is there like a harbor master?
Give me a perception check. Whoever wants to take part in that, and you're there as well as Tanya.
Let's have a look.
18 for Sesh and 22 for Arwen.
Okay, Stenya, are you making a perception check as well? Oh, there
Wow.
he is.
Nice.
90.
All right. So, no, you don't see a muscle-bound orc with a top knot on any of the ships. Like from where you're at, you don't see any of them. But you do notice that there is a like a dockmaster office, not on the docks like complex, but just off to the side. But that does seem to be there. It is marked off as the dockmaster, or it's called the harbor master. But yeah, it's there. So.
All right. I would like to go there and see if I can't get information on any ships that came in about the time that we were gone the first time.
When they first arrived here and started looking for us, I guess.
Yeah.
The big wall of muscle, half orc, top knot, and a small woman, dark leathers, cloth, half elf with 2 bladed scabbards. So two blades for scabbards on one hip.
I was more talking about the ships themselves.
Well, yeah, I'm assuming that would stand out if they came into the harbor master to announce, hey, we have this on our ship. We're here unloading this.
Fair enough.
You don't talk to the harbor master specifically. You talk to like an assistant who's at the front desk, and you're just inquiring about. When you inquire about the people, he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't actually tell you anything about the captains. We have a confidentiality. If they pay for docking rights, we're not supposed to unless you're part of the government. Watch." Tell
Well,
you
they're
about
looking
them.
for us, is the thing.
Well, that's your problem. Though, the docking times and the ships are public knowledge. If you would like to look at our ledgers, they are available right there. And you see like a dock ledger that's there, like a public one. So it has all the ships written down. So you know the time that it was told that they would be coming in.
Yeah.
That they started asking questions. So if you compare the times that there were 5 ships that came in around that time that are also still here. at the dock. And that gives you.
I'll write the names down. Go nice and slow for me, please.
Yep, just give me a second.
Or berths, one of the two.
Yeah. That gives you.
Or both.
A second. I'm trying to find. I've got it written down here somewhere.
All these pages of notes gets in the way sometimes, huh?
Yeah, they do.
Couldn't you like Control F and find what you're looking for?
Yeah, well, yeah, if you can figure out how to do that with paper.
God damn it, Roach.
It's physical, damn it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Well,
Insert elevator music here.
Okay, so you have the Jewel of Grifton.
Jewel of Grifton. Okay.
The Edgar.
The Edgar. Okay. It's the Edgar. Actual.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Hold on a second.
It's actually actively
The
writing these down. So.
Yeah, the Dundoon.
The Dundoon.
Yes.
Dundoon. Okay. Hey, Mitch, Dad.
That was the Bounty.
The Bounty.
That was 4.
Okay.
I've given you, right?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jewel of Griffin. The Edgar. The Dundoon and the Bounty.
Yep. And the Strumpet's Cry.
The Strumpet's Cry. Okay. She will
Right, those
thank
are
the
the
dock assistant.
Yep. Those are the 5 that came in around that time, and also gave you were still around today.
Okay. So I have the names of the ships. We have the Jewel of Grifton, the Edgar, the Dundoon, the Bounty, the Strumpet's Cry. Those are the only 5 ships that are still in dock that have been here the whole time.
Strumpet is a great word.
It is.
Was there any berthing, like what berths they were in or anything like that?
No, it doesn't tell you that much. It's
Okay.
it's a strict logbook. It's just for them to put it in there, and
Right,
so like, if
okay.
It's name and docking time, I imagine. Name and docking day, and that's it, really.
About that, yeah. The more detailed ones that are not public are in the back of the
Okay.
office and are not for you to see.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Damn government and their laws.
I guess we should just.
Yeah, I guess we're just gonna have to go and look for these ships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Grand total, there's probably about 20 ships at dock right now in
That's
this,
not too
bad.
this harbor.
Take us too long.
Yeah, that's not too bad. There's not too many
Yeah,
ships
they're,
around.
they're spread across 12 docks, like around this half second. Like if you look at the map of the actual city, you'll see how big the docking area is. It's because it's most of that coastline. So,
Could we just get R1 to jump on Barry and just run around? Because the dog has really fast move speed, if I remember correctly. The dog has a pretty good move speed, I think. So it could probably move around a lot faster than we could.
About 40 feet.
Yeah, it's faster than we are.
It's 10,
The dog's
10 feet
just
faster.
sprinting around. Yeah, dog just sprinting
Or
around.
actually,
R1
15 feet
looking for
faster
names.
for you, R1, because you have a 25-foot move speed. Yeah, so,
You
yeah,
small. Yeah.
quite a bit. I'm gonna say, give me an investigation check. Who's ever help. Well, if you want to help one single person, they can get advantage on it. Or you can all
I
separately.
have proficiency, but I'm not great, so I'll give it to R1. I'm assuming R1. Do you have investigation?
Okay. Nope.
Does Justinia have investigation? And the sound of silence was deafening in the room. that day.
I mean, I have a +3 to it, but
All right, yeah,
You
you
there?
take it.
You
then.
there, Atari?
Sorry, what was that?
Do you have proficiency in investigation and positive stats to it? I'll take that as a no. That wheeze is a definite no. I'll take.
Nope.
So yeah, we'll give advantage. I'll give advantage to R1.
17.
No, that's good. It's pretty good.
All right, you find two ships within a half hour of checking, because you're going around all these dockyards, and they're spread around like a mile of coastline that these 12 docks are. So you're going around each one of them trying to find this stuff. And you do find two of them. You find the hold on, the Bounty, and what was the first one I gave you?
The Jewel of Grifton.
The Jewel of Grifton. Yes, you find those two. The Jewel of Grifton seems to be kind of a sloop. It's a very small ship, and it's like it looks to be maybe a Grey Waste ship. Like its design, and it's very like fancy filigree and stuff along a lot of the carvings. Just very nice. The Bounty looks to be like a trawler. It's big, it's blocky, it's dwarvish made, and it's like a fishing trawler that you're saying. Like it's got just a huge like little it's got these huge poles and stuff set up for and pulley systems for nets, and it's made just to fish. Is the first two that you find. You see crew working around both ships. Definitely Grey Wastes for the Jewel of Grifton. It is like all the people there are finely dressed and getting things loaded onto the ship. It's not a big cargo ship, but this kind of thing would be probably like quick. It's really fast. You would think so. It's just moving some what looks to be high priced materials into the hold of the ship, and the Bounty is unloading just huge loads of like mackerel and just these big loads of fish into barrels and crates onto the dockyard, and they're moving them out. And the crew looks what you'd expect from a fishing trawler. A lot of hard-mouthed and hard-faced, foul-mouthed sailors all working around. Give me a perception check, because these are very close together. So give me a perception check for these.
Perception.
Just one.
Just one?
Yep.
All right, who wants to roll it? I have a +7 to perception.
Are we with him? Because he's
Yes.
faster than both of us. Okay. I have a +7 as well, so it's basically the same.
All right, you go this time.
Okay.
Take advantage. 'cause
With
they're
advantage.
up
Yeah.
So I click the little advantage button, and
Yes.
I roll
and
perception.
then you roll.
And they roll. That's pretty good.
24. In the time that you spend looking at these two ships, you do not find any individuals matching the description you were given.
But I'm assuming I'd recognize the Jewel of Griffith because I'm from the wastes.
Well, I mean, you don't recognize the
Visually,
ship. You
at
recognize
least.
you recognize it
visually.
as from the Grey Waste, yes, but you don't recognize the ship. No.
Cool.
Did
I'm
you
like,
find-
yeah, neither of the. I do not see either of the people who we've been described. We must keep looking.
All right.
All right.
And I want
Carry
just jumps
on.
on Barry, and yeet, he goes.
All right. So you begin moving around. This is around the time where Isaac and Rivellon, you get to the dock areas, and I need you to make an investigation check because you're trying to find your party.
Yep.
Luckily, it won't be.
It might be easier to find the giant dragonborn walking around.
13.
Hang on.
Ooh.
15.
15? Okay. It takes you a couple of minutes, but you do finally spot the large dragonborn and the Uteshian step rider.
They do stand out.
They do stand out in the crowd. And when you start moving towards them, in the time between they find you and you're moving towards them, you find the other 3 ships all on one dock. So all the rest of them are there. So that would be the Strumpet's Cry, what's the other 2?
The
Edgar
Edgar
and
and the Dundun.
Dundun, yes. You find all of those. The Edgar looks to be a personal yacht. The Dundun seems to be a prison transport. Like it is a government ship for the freeholds. So it is the bars on all of the little portholes. It's It's got iron reinforcements and metal reinforcements all along its deck and sides. It is definitely dwarvish made and government, so it is for the military. And the Strumpet's Cry looks to be a small, like single-masted ship made of mostly wood, that has like elements of an elvish design to it, like very kind of flowing woodworking and stuff. So those are the three ships you see. Give me a perception check again, if you.
Do you want me to go again?
Sure.
Or do we all roll? Or will we all roll separately this time?
Nope, just give advantage because they're helping you.
Okay.
$18.
18, okay. The Dundoon's crew looks to be all dwarf and government. Like they are soldiers and the like. They're
All
kind
uniformed up, I imagine, similarly to what I would have been back
Eh,
home.
yeah, except for the freehold colors and
Yeah.
they're like a lot of them are just cleaning like the sides of the ship and doing maintenance on it. Might have just gotten in from what you saw. It did just get in from a journey, so might have been out there for a while. The private yacht looks to be empty. Nobody's on it, but it wouldn't have a very large crew anyways.
Which one was that?
The
Strumpet's Cry?
The Edgar.
The Edgar.
Oh, the
The
Edgar.
Edgar is the private one.
Yeah, it wouldn't have a large crew anyways. You think it would be hard pressed to have maybe 5 people on it for a protracted period of time. It's very small. Strumpet's Cry actually has a crew though. Not a large one, but they are working on it. It's a hodgepodge of individuals. You see 1 or 2 tabaxi who are working on the rigging. A tall, lean human that looks to be guiding the crew, and he's kind of got armor on that has like a symbol that you don't recognize on the front of it, and he's like guiding the 2 tabaxi and giving orders. He's still too far to understand what he's saying though.
Would recognizing this symbol be a religion or an insight check? Probably not, but I want to ask anyway.
Be a religion check, but you
Cool.
wouldn't know what it is anyways from
All
where
right.
you're at.
Cool.
You wouldn't have the background to know.
Die?
You're not there.
I thought I'd
Yet.
caught up with them.
No. This isn't the time that takes you to catch up.
Right.
You're working through a crowd of an active dockyard to get there.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. But yeah, you don't recognize the symbol, but you do see those 3 working on the top, and you see a couple of other individuals that look to be kind of scraggly, like humans or half elves. You're not really sure. They were loading like crates onto the ship off the gangway, or onto the gangway and up into the hold, and it's like to be food, provisions, water, and ale barrels, stuff like that that they're loading in.
So
that's
they're
what you
about to set off?
possibly, or they're provisioning. They're getting provisions ready for a journey.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to guess, that's the ship we're looking for.
Not a bad guess. And if I look to you, Stinia, if this gets aggressive, please don't be afraid to back me up.
Please
no
help me.
problem.
And I will shout. I won't shout because people in the house. But oh, sailors, may I ask you a question? And I'm speaking at the dude with the symbol. He seems to be in charge.
In the middle of yelling an order, no, you dumb fireballs, you bring it. Looks over. And when you get closer, give me a perception check.
Okay. Perception. That's bad.
9.
You still don't recognize the symbol.
My passive is a 17, so I think it
Doesn't.
goes up to that. Does it? No, that's not how it works.
No, that's not how it works.
Alright.
Passive is your
Uh,
chance to notice someone stealthing next to you.
Nah, that
That
was
kind
what
of
I
stuff, yeah.
assumed. It was. I remember people saying, "Yeah, I rolled less than my passive, therefore my passive applies," but that must be wrong. So
Nope. But you do notice when you get closer, though, this individual is wearing like heavy armor,
Mhm.
and oddly enough, he has manacles on his hands and ankles, and a metal collar that's just barely visible around his around his neck. And when he looks over,
he's a prisoner.
you don't know. What do you want?
Apparently, a large half-orc man with a top knot and a short half-elvish woman was looking for a group of people in town, staying at the Broken Mast. Would that happen to be anything to do with your crew?
Who wants to know?
The
I'm
people
part
in
of that
question.
group.
Yes, the people in question.
Maybe. Why?
Taken aback.
He just
the people
runs.
they've been
He just
looking-
he bolts and jumps off the edge of the
overboard,
ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be the captain and first mate.
Do you know where they are currently?
Yeah. Points
gonna
over
tell-
and right there.
I turn to look.
Yeah, about 50 feet back. You see a half orc and a half elven individual. They're walking down the docks, and also because your passive perception is so good, you see in front of them by about 20 feet, who are kind of half running down the docks towards you, is your two friends.
Isaac and Rivalon. All right, I'm going to just tap Justinia on just below the rib, just to make him look where I'm looking, because he'd probably notice too. I'm pointing it out to him.
Huh?
Like-
What?
I point out
What?
to him, Isaac,
Oh.
Rivalon, and the woman and the orc.
Oh. Isaac's come to see us.
Oh God.
Isaac just jumps off the edge of the harbor into the ocean. Just, I want to die. I'm done. This looks like it might be messy, and I say that because I see the two people running towards us. This might not be a good idea.
Well, the two people that we're looking for are not running towards you. They're walking as if they haven't noticed who you are yet.
Yeah, I'm talking about Isaac and I'm talking about
Are
Isaac
your
and Rivalon.
friends?
Yeah, I'm like, those two are running, which means there's something wrong. They
Wait,
wouldn't
who's
usually
running?
be trying to. Isaac and Rivalon. They're half running towards us across this.
They're not walking, but they're definitely they're not running, but they're definitely not walking. They're trying to get to you quicker.
They're power walking.
If you want to talk to them, just wait a minute. I'll be here.
Yeah.
She just nods. Thank you.
Should we
Right.
go meet Isaac?
Yeah,
And
we go and
Rivalon.
intercept them.
Watches you as you leave. All right, you all meet up.
And I immediately turn Isaac around. I grab him by the shoulders and physically turn him around to point out the two people just behind him.
So
yeah, none of you passed your passive perception to see them. So
we
Hold
have
on, they
some
might.
we found some information on Zegul, and
It can
good-
wait. We have.
Oh, it can't.
See.
Quickly, I would just say, Rivalon's fine. The druidess
Damn.
that we had captured might not be,
Okay.
and she might be coming for us.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like it sucks. But we're currently right in front of those people.
Well,
So-
this could go one of either two ways. They could be looking at us for good reasons, or they could be looking at us for bad reasons. We're in a very, very public
If
place
we-
right now.
You're looking at them, and it looks like the woman has now taken notice of the
Two
Tall.
giants.
tall dragonborn, the tall priest-looking individual, the Teshian rider, and the short bard.
It's a
And
very
smiles.
distinct group
So
of
I'm
people.
actually stood here like this because I'm explaining the things, and then I clock it and go.
He waves for those on the podcast.
Yeah. And I think that's what we'll end it today.
All right.
Damn it, Roach.
Well, well, that's exactly on time, and I hope you've all enjoyed watching these streams today. As always, thank you to Roach for creating the world we are playing in and being the DM, and thank you for all these guys for joining me. We'll be back next week with more of this. Yes, it will be next week this time, hopefully. Put it this way, there's
Damn
nothing that should
Midgeman,
get
his
in the way.
goddamn jobs.
There's
and
nothing
shit.
that should get in the way this week. Yeah, thank you also. Thank you all on the various streams. Rival, thank you for streaming on your end, and thank you for anyone that's come and joined me on this end as well. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
Tatty bye.
Tatty bye!